Guys, what's up? I'm Shin0555. Welcome back to another episode of TextBox, where gamers talk about games, and I'm joined here with our good friend Wizplay. What's up, man?
A.
And you can probably
back again.
Back again.
Back again.
And you can probably tell from the title of the video, we are going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts, one of the best action RPGs ever made. But before we begin, if you have not caught up with all the Kingdom Hearts games, or you're really new to Kingdom Hearts, play them first before watching this video, because we are just going to talk about our thoughts. There's going to be spoilers. We're going to talk about a bunch of nonsense, and if you don't know the Kingdom Hearts story, you're going to be completely lost. This is just going to be gibberish.
I think there's you can buy, was it the collection called The Story So Far? Mm-hmm. And then there's a version of that's called The Story So Far plus Kingdom Hearts 3, which has all of it in there. So that would be the best way to get caught up if you haven't ever played them, as far as I know. I think it's on the PS4, and I want to say on the Xbox One, I want to say.
Yeah, and all the games...
I don't know if...
And, like, all the game collections, like the 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, and 3, they're all on Steam now. So, you can get them on Steam. So,
definitely worth it. Definitely worth it.
Yeah, I am not lying.
They're not that expensive anymore either. Yeah, they're not even that expensive. You can get a pretty good price on them now.
Yeah, it goes on sale every once in a while too. So I think they have like a bundle sale too. But I am not lying when I say it is legitimately one of the best action RPGs ever made. It's really good.
I think I played the first one like way back in the day, around like maybe like a couple months after it came out, when a friend brought it over. Mm-hmm. And it was like one of these things where when you first saw it, you thought it was like a joke. You're like, oh, like what is this, like Final Fantasy for babies?
Yeah,
right? Because you're like, it's like a Disney themed Final Fantasy crossover. And I was like, what the hell is this? And then like he brought it over, and I was like, it's one of those games where even if you don't give a crap about the story, the gameplay just like it just works so well that you're just like, you can ignore every cheesy ridiculousness of the story, of which it has plenty of, just because the gameplay just shines so much. And I think what's cool is that like every game is like very, very different. Like what worked in one game is going to be completely different in another.
Yeah. Not in like a bad way. Like it does feel like it just evolves. And like what's weird about that, or what's unusual about like Kingdom Hearts, is like usually when a game has like a set thing and like it tries to evolve like their gameplay mechanics, sometimes they do stuff that works, sometimes they do stuff that doesn't work, and it's like they try to find a groove. But it's just like with Kingdom Hearts, it's like everything they threw at the board was just really good. Like,
yeah, even its weakest entries are still pretty decent. Like, I know most people feel like Chain of Memories is like a really weak entry, and it's definitely one that I definitely have a love-hate relationship with. But even with that one, after playing it a while, you're gonna get used to it. You kind of start to enjoy it after a while.
Well, like my thought with Chain of Memories is I like the GBA version. I hate the PlayStation 2 version.
The PS2 version, what's weird about it is since it changed it to being a 3-dimensional like game,
it makes it worse.
That's like what makes it.
Yeah,
it makes it plays weird then. But like it's still, if that is the weakest entry in the series, that's still better than some series best entries.
That is true.
Because it's still a solid entry. And then that's the other thing is I think the thing that's the weirdest for most people is that for a long time there was like so many different versions of these games, and I do like how like the current like collection that we have now is basically like all of the supered up final mix versions, which just has like all of the extra stuff. But I have to admit, I would have also liked the option to play the original versions as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And my reasoning is because KH1.
That's true. I actually just recently played through Kingdom Hearts 1, like the American version, not the final mix, on the PlayStation 2. I will say it is rough as hell, though. Like,
it is, but one thing I did not like about the Final Mix version is I like the additional content. What I didn't like is how they changed certain content, because stuff like getting the Ultima Keyblade now became super freaking annoying in the Final Mix version, because now you had to go farm all these really special Heartless, and if you know, the freaking sniper,
Yeah.
the freaking monkey, was it the sniper lock or whatever the hell his name was? Bro, that just sucked farming him. He was awful and annoying to deal with. It just makes it so that by the time you actually get the ultimate weapon, there's pretty much nothing for you to use it on.
Yeah. That's why I think Kingdom
um,
Hearts would have benefited from a new game plus.
Yeah. I feel like Dream Drop Distance did a similar thing where at least I know in the remaster of it, which if I recall the remaster didn't really change anything. The remaster, I do know that but to get the Ultimate Keyblade, you have to defeat like the one secret boss in the game. The problem is that by the time you do that, you don't really have anything to use it on.
Yeah.
So like it's like it's kind of silly and redundant at that point. Like that was kind of annoying, but overall, just honestly, as far as the handheld games go, that one's gameplay felt really good because it felt less experimental than the other ones where it had more traditional combat. But like, its story and maybe some of its other features were kind of meh.
Yeah. I mean, it introduced flow motion, so like I can look over that while I'm like grinding on like rails like it's SA2.
See, I thought that was interesting because flow motion, I found out that some people are really like divided on that. I thought that was interesting that not everyone like has a solid opinion about flow motion. Like I personally found it to be really fun to use because it made combat just feel like really hyper and off the walls.
Yeah.
Quite literally in some case. But some people hated it because it kind of like, I mean, and I guess I get this criticism where some people felt it kind of eliminated the exploration element of the game, which, yeah, I technically did, because in the old games, yeah, coming back to an old area where when you now had like the long or the high jump and all that, that no longer really exists because flow motion makes it possible.
Yeah.
So you had to make larger levels to accommodate that. Like, I didn't think it was a bad thing. I thought it was still fun to do.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't see it as a bad. I know a lot of people didn't like it because like the flow motion attacks you could do were just way overpowered. So a lot of fights you were just jumping on a wall and like spamming your flow motion attacks, and they were like, it made the combat too. I'm like, shut up. It was fun.
Well, and on top of that, like, it also introduced the World Ends With You level, or World Ends With You characters, and even a Keyblade based on it, which I thought was awesome, because that game is also really good. Love that game.
Loved going to the mailroom in Traverse Town. I thought that was so cool. Like, adding on to, like, an established area that I was like, oh!
We got to see so much more of Traverse Town, an area that up to that point had been mostly forgotten, you know? So it was kind of cool to see some new content with it. It was really cool. Plus, I have to admit, like, they made playing as Riku, like, kind of fun, too, where it's like, every time we got to play as Riku in, like, every other game, he was just kind of treated as, like, the side character with, like, lesser, you know? Whereas, like, in Chain of Memories, instead of being, like, Sora, where you can customize, his deck is all basically preset and everything. So, like, you had less control. And then, like, in Kingdom Hearts 2, the couple of minutes you get to play as him, he's also, like, watered down. So it was really cool to be able to play as him. Yeah. And it just be, like, a full character.
The only problem I have with Dream Drop Distance is the drop mechanic. I think that's everyone's main gripe with the game. The fact that, like...
Yeah, it was kind of weird, because you had, like, a time limit on playing with the character. It was really odd.
Yeah, and honestly, I think they did that because the main complaint people had with Birth by Sleep was the fact that you needed to start a new game to change the character. So I think that was their way to address, like, a multi-character story. They were like, okay, we'll just force you to switch on a time limit. And it's like, that sounds awful, and it is awful.
See, I have pretty much, like, every single version of the games that exist. Like, on my shelf, we can splice in a video that I'll send in. where I have like the PlayStation 2 version, the PS3 version, the PS4 version. Like I basically keep buying them every time they release them, and there's another set of trophies and achievements, which I have the platinum in pretty much every Kingdom Hearts game because
Nice.
I love playing them. Every time I have an excuse to play them again, I usually will. I haven't played them again in a while now just because of that, but I probably will eventually. I know when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, now that was like an interesting situation because Kingdom Hearts 3 was like a really weird situation because it was like when it launched, I think everybody was so hyped for it because of how long we waited for it, to the point where when it launched it didn't even feel real. Like it
Yeah.
felt like it didn't even actually exist. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of understand why it didn't why it probably, but yeah, it was definitely a really good game.
See, like
It's just
my gripe with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I think I said this before on a video, but it is gameplay wise the best Kingdom Hearts game. Where it falls short is the story and pacing. And it's like they made these huge mistakes that's like, you didn't make this when you did the first game. Like, I have so much to say about Kingdom Hearts 3. It's insane. But, like...
it wasn't even a bad, like, it was definitely a really great game. I know that now people are kind of looking at it like, oh, it's not as blah, 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 blah. But, like, it did do a lot of really good things. And as far as Kingdom Hearts games go, it's still pretty dang good. Like, I think the main thing, the reason why we all kind of looked at it like it wasn't as amazing is because by the time it came out, the hype for it was just kind of like, it was unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no chance of it ever meeting the hype, you know?
But, like... Okay, I'm gonna give you my whole Kingdom Hearts split. I just gotta say it. I just gotta come out with it and say it. But I think Kingdom Hearts 3 failed because of Tetsuya Nomura. Because in interviews, Nomura said his main goal for Kingdom Hearts 3 was including the Pixar worlds and recreating the scenes from the 3D Pixar movies in a game. And when you play Kingdom Hearts 3, it feels like that was his only focus. And in my opinion, that's what, like, brought down the game. Because, like, if I was in charge of Kingdom Hearts 3, the way I would have done it would be, there would be absolutely no new worlds. No new worlds, no Pixar movies. It's the, like, Xehanort Saga's conclusion. So what I would do is I would remake every world that Sora and Goofy and Donald visited, except Tarzan, because we can't do Tarzan anymore, and remake them in, like, Unreal 4 or 5 or Unreal 4. Remake all those levels, have the whole story of Sora reconnecting with all the people he met along the way, and then at the, like, final confrontation, he has everybody behind him, all the Disney, Final Fantasy, and Kingdom Hearts characters, as he goes up against, like, Xehanort and the organization. And then, the way the game ends, you could keep the same ending where Sora goes into the unreality, and have that be where all the Pixar movies are held. And it's like, oh, this is why Sora never went there, because all the Pixar stuff is stuck in that other alternate reality where Sora is now. And it would all make perfect sense.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to go a different route entirely with Kingdom Hearts 4. But it's still, that's the other thing that's, you know, that we could do an entire freaking show just on that. But yeah, the situation in Kingdom Hearts 4 remains odd because it was announced in 2020 and there hasn't really been any kind of real update at all.
The last
I know
update
we had, like,
got
that mobile
was
game that got canceled.
Yeah, the last update is they canceled that mobile game, and they said, okay, we canceled that, but I swear we're still working on Kingdom Hearts 4. We don't have anything to show right now.
And what's crazier is, like, and this is, like, just shows you how Nomura is just, like, he is kind of obsessed with his Final Fantasy 13 crap. Like he's just obsessed with it. Like
Yeah.
he's so obsessed with it, he won't let it go, because I think they even said in like a couple of interviews that some of the stuff that he's working on for Kingdom Hearts 4, for such as the Virum Rex side franchise that he was kind of doing within the game, which I guess he wanted to turn that into a game in of itself, and then it just never materialized. And then it ended up being like a side world within Kingdom Hearts. And now like Kingdom Hearts 4, they're going to use content for that as well. But apparently that comes from his vision that he had from Final Fantasy Versus 13, which is the game that never materialized and ended up ultimately evolving into what eventually became Final Fantasy 15. So it's like, this is basically over a decade and a half later, and he's still trying to make this third Final Fantasy 13 game that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
nobody wants Final Fantasy 13 3, bro. Nobody wants this.
I mean, like, it
didn't even want the first two of them.
That's true. But, like, I admit, like, that, like, Versus 13 trailer, it looks cool. And again, when you look at the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, you can see the DNA of that. He wants some fucking cool-ass magic sword fight in some big modern looking city. Like that's all he wants to do.
Oh, sorry, I better correct that, but my statement here, because I know there's going to be people in the comments, sorry, 4 Final Fantasy 13 games, because we actually already had Final Fantasy 13 3.
Yes, because Lightning
so he wanted to make a fourth game in that franchise, which is like, dude, we didn't even want the first one or the other two. Like, and I know eventually I have to do videos on the other two, because I know people are going to expect me to do it, and eventually I will. I do own Final Fantasy 13 2. It's on my shelf right now. It's actually still in the original cling wrap, because that just tells you, as I said in my first video about it, so few people wanted this that it didn't sell.
It's actually better than the, like, 13-1, but
that bar is low.
Yeah, it's so low.
It's
like not saying anything.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of like, as far as Kingdom Hearts 3 goes, you could definitely see when you got to that world, which is weird because it was kind of shoehorned into like the Toy Story world.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like a completely different game. But it's like, it's just really strange because of the fact that it just kind of, I don't know, it felt kind of out of place. But like, it felt like he had more interest doing that than Toy Story. One thing that was cool though was that because like graphic technology had finally caught up in video games, the graphics looked about as good as the actual movie, so it actually did feel like you were in the movie, which that part was cool.
Yeah.
You know, and Woody being like, and Woody just being all like, I don't care, return Buzz the way he was and get lost. Like, that's the other thing is that I think as far as storytelling goes, like, it's one of those things where you have to just kind of go into Kingdom Hearts knowing that the story is completely absurd. For those who have not played the game and are for some reason just decided to continue this video regardless of not playing the game, this is one of those things where even if we were to sit there and talk about like the story and like dissecting it by detail, it would just come off as incredibly stupid for someone uninitiated, because it's weird. Kingdom Hearts has this really weird talent where the story is absolutely absurd, but it still can make you care about it somehow, even though it doesn't really like make sense half the time, because there are so many things within the Kingdom Hearts universe that like are completely inconsistent.
Well, it's like, I'll give this to Nomura. I don't think he's a great director of like games, but he's a very good artist, and 2, the way he writes stories is he's really good at like emotional storytelling and concepts of ideas. So this is why you see things like the secret trailer to Kingdom Hearts 1, where it's like Riku on top of the tower in the world that never was, falling down like fighting Roxas. When he made that trailer, that was just nonsense. It was just random shit he like made up, and then like as Kingdom Hearts went on, he found a way to kind of make that scene into the story. And you can tell that's how he like goes about the story. He's like, okay, I'm gonna come up with these bunch of cool ideas, but it's almost like he needs like an underwriter or someone to be like, okay, you come up with ideas, I'll write how we get there. But they just leave it up to him, and he's just like, He comes up with cool ideas, but like the sequencing is terrible.
I think I remember for when the secret movie in Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, like, you know, the world that never, you know, when you get that secret movie for beating the game on like Proud Mode and whatnot. I remember like that movie, which ultimately ended up becoming Birth by Sleep. I just remember so much schoolyard talk of just
about like what
constant speculation for years.
Yeah.
Of like hyping what this could end up being like, and at the time we thought that was just going to be Kingdom Hearts 3, right? And it was just constant hype, and then like I think it was just constant hype, and we're just trying to find out what is going to happen, what's going to happen. And I think it went on for so long where we were like, when is the next game? We have to know when the next game is, right? And when it finally happened, we were kind of surprised when like what we ended up getting was a game that was very different than what we originally imagined.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt, yeah, especially when it was announced like, oh yeah, it's a side story and it's like a prequel. I'm like, what? And yeah, and like that whole hyped up scene, it kind of ended up being like kind of anti-hype. And it was like, because it was like 5 years till that game came out too.
Yeah.
And it was like, and this was back before the internet was like huge. Like the internet was still a thing, but like game developers like only really talked to like magazines and whatnot. And a lot of time they didn't really say much. So like news about upcoming games or games that they're working on like years out was something that didn't really get spread out that often. So you basically didn't even know about it till it was officially announced.
I remember.
So like we just would speculate for years.
Hey, did you ever go on Kingdom Hearts Insider?
Yes, I still go on Kingdom Hearts Insider. I still do that.
I remember that site. So I remember when Birth by Sleep was coming out, and just any little information, they would update the website, and I would just be right there. We'd be finding out like what worlds were gonna be in it, all this like other stuff. I was so, and like I really do like Birth by Sleep. It might be my favorite Kingdom Hearts game.
Birth by Sleep was a really, really good game. It's just I think the only thing is like its final mix version was what like there were some really weird things about it. Like it's a great game and it's definitely one of the better ones. It did have some weird quirks, especially if we're talking about the original version. Like for example, it was like the first PSP game that like basically recommended you install it right onto the memory stick because its load times would have been trash otherwise, and its load times were still not great even without even with it installed. But and that is one good thing is that like the remasters of it do fix that problem. But like it was strange because now it pushed the system to its limits for sure. But there was like some weird quirks. Like I thought the weird part was the fact that the level cap actually can go up to like 99 like the other games.
Yeah. But
you'll never make it there. Because leveling just becomes super slow at like level 50 for some reason. I don't know why. It's like a really weird thing. But you know what's weird is that Square Enix games kind of have those weird quirks like all the time where like the leveling, they'll have some really weird quirks about leveling a lot. Like Parasite Eve, which is ironically another game that Tetsuya Nomura was also heavily involved with in terms of designing the characters. That game has a weird leveling quirk as well, where I think you get to like level 37 or something like that. And then between level 37 and like 38, it constitutes like 60 to 70% of the experience you need to reach max level. So like you basically, the game, you can only get like, I think it's like 100,000 experience to reach the end level, right?
Yeah.
And I think like 60 or 70,000 of it it's like 1 million experience, but like it's like 1 million experience, right? And I think like 700,000 of that experience is just that one level.
That must be a Japanese
and then
thing
after that
about the number. Like...
Yeah, and but then after that the leveling becomes super fast.
Yeah.
It's really weird, and it seems like a lot of Square Enix games, there's a lot of them that have some really weird leveling situation. Like but I think it's because Square Enix is a company, and Kingdom Hearts is the perfect example of this, it would be so easy just to make another RPG and it's another turn-based RPG or another typical action RPG, right? Following the same elements that always work with some minor changes, right? It would be so easy to do that. I mean, look at all the Souls-like games that are just basically another Souls-like game with their own slight flavor difference, right?
Mm.
So it'd be easy to do that. Square Enix is a company that does not like to do that. They are constantly reinventing the wheel. So they will have RPGs that work in some of the most absurd ways ever. I mean, what is it, Final Fantasy Crisis Core,
I
where
love
the
that game.
leveling worked on a slot machine? You know
Okay,
what I mean? Like that was it's not bad. It's just it's so different
yeah.
that if you say that out loud, if you say that out loud to someone who's never played it, it sounds absolutely stupid.
Well,
right?
honestly, it's not that bad because like it seems like it's up to random chance, but it's actually not. You do get experience in Crisis Core, and once you get enough experience, the chances of you hitting like a level up go to like 100%. That's the way it works.
Yeah, because if I recall, they said that I think as on a guide I saw once, it says that every battle increments like the chance of leveling up by 1%. So like you basically it'll just keep growing and growing until eventually leveling up becomes guaranteed. But this also could be really funny because you could get insanely lucky and level up multiple times in a row.
Well,
like
what happens
from a single battle?
Well, what happens is it stores the I know this for a fact because like in the beginning of the game you can get an item called like the curse ring, which stops the slot machine entirely. But what you could do is like basically stockpile EXP, and then when you take the cursed ring off and get into a battle, you literally level up like every 2 seconds. Like you're constantly hitting 777. It's honestly the coolest thing ever. Like
I think like I said, what was interesting is that like even the Kingdom Hearts games sometimes you approach leveling and like how you get stronger in like some strange ways. I mean, there are a handful of times where getting stronger is blocked by story progression. And it's not unusual for Square Enix games because some of their games do that. Like Final Fantasy 13, like I mentioned, is a perfect example where character progression is locked behind story progression. So, and they did that because they wanted it to be where the battles were always a challenge, regardless how long you went out and grinded. But I'm the kind of guy where I like grinding. Like I like it. You know, I play RuneScape. Obviously, I like grinding. And this thing, I kind of hate it when a game like stops you from progressing because the game goes, no, you have to sit through this cutscene and these things before we'll let you grind a little bit more. And I hate that. That's one thing I love about Kingdom Hearts is you always have the freedom to go and grind. I think only a handful of the games ever stop you. I think, was it 358 over 2 days, which, my God, I'm realizing just saying these names out loud for people that have never played Kingdom Hearts are like, wait, there's a game that's called 358 over 2 days.
But once you play the game, the title makes sense.
It does make sense. But Square Enix, I think James Rolfe hit the nail on the head when he was like, Square Enix was obviously just trying to come up with the dumbest naming schemes ever for anything, right? With the Kingdom Hearts series. And it's just them screwing around. That's why after Kingdom Hearts 3, I think it's so funny because we were thinking, okay, they're going to announce this and this and this, right? And there's going to be all these side games, all these weird names. They just said, fuck it. We're just going to call it Kingdom Hearts 4. They just said, you know what? This is getting too confusing. Just call it Kingdom Hearts 4.
We learned how to count.
It's funny to even see it.
Yeah.
It's also funny to even see a Kingdom Hearts 4. It's so weird because if you're like somebody that's just gotten into Kingdom Hearts more recently, especially if you got into it after buying like the remaster sets, like if those remaster games were your first time playing Kingdom Hearts, or Kingdom Hearts 3 was your first time playing, and you didn't play back in the day when these games were like just coming out, Kingdom Hearts 4 to you probably doesn't seem like anything, right? It's like, okay, it's the next Kingdom Hearts games. For those of us who have been playing since, I mean, I've been playing pretty much since like 2002, and I'm assuming you were probably in the same boat.
Yeah.
So for those of us who've been playing, and I guarantee you're gonna immediately know what I'm talking about. Seeing Kingdom Hearts 4 right after Kingdom Hearts 3, our brains don't even want to believe that that's correct.
That's true.
Because we waited because first of all, we never had a Kingdom Hearts game that just went from one game to the next numbered sequel. Even Kingdom Hearts 1 had at least one side game between it and Kingdom Hearts 2, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 had like 17 side games between Kingdom Hearts 3, none of which named appropriately, might I add.
Yeah.
So to see Kingdom Hearts 3 and then Kingdom Hearts 4, our brains sitting there waiting like literally 14 years for Kingdom Hearts 3 can't even comprehend how do we in our mind, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you know that 2 does not come after 3.
Yeah.
Or 3 does not come after 2. What comes after 2 is a bunch of bullcrap.
Yeah.
That's what comes after 2. In our mind, if we see the number 2 and then 3, we know that there's 17 things in between that.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works, There's like, it's kind of like Valve,
Yeah. And it's just like, and I think, like, I played I was the perfect audience for Kingdom Hearts. Because I didn't play the first one when it first came out. I waited a little bit, and, maybe like a year or two after. So I didn't play like the first year, but it took me like a year or two to start playing it. But then I played Kingdom Hearts, and I was like, holy shit. It was basically like a religious experience, is the best way I could describe it. But, I guess, I played it as in middle school, as like a preteen, teenager, and it's just like, I just connected with this game on such like an emotional level that it was like I played it at the perfect time to play it. And it's just like, it stuck with me ever since. And then like Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and it was like, I connected with that one even more. And then it's truly like a magical franchise that I think if you played in like your teenage years, it'll just stick with you forever.
I mean, proof in the fact that we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, and as I was saying before, though, like my only gripe with like 358 over 2 days, which okay, yeah, it's mission based, and
I actually really like that.
I understand the issues with 358. I understand its issues, and its issues all derive more or less from the same thing, is that it was on limited hardware. So like I can forgive its shortcomings in those regards. Like, yes, okay, the graphics look like crap. Yes, the mission-based system was so that they could accommodate like more of a multiplayer aspect, and on top of that, because it was on a limited hardware, I can totally let that slide. And yes, the story is much more minimalist, where yes, admittedly, it is a game that only exists because it creates a story to force itself to exist. I can totally look past that. My only like real thing that was annoying about it is that leveling was somewhat locked behind story progression, because you kind of had to like get certain far in the story to like level up.
You had to equip your level ups.
Yeah, and it's like you can only get them through meeting certain conditions. So it's like it was somewhat, and that's like my only real thing I don't like about it, is that's how leveling up is restricted. But other than that, it's still an enjoyable experience. I mean, I only played it one time on the original DS, but nowadays with like all these emulators that are available and stuff, and the fact that you can like really juice up these emulators and really bump up the resolution and graphics, I feel like people who have played it back in the day should replay it now, like on an emulator that has like all like the enhancements, so you can really experience like what it would be like if it was like more modernized and whatnot, because we're never gonna get a remake of it. Let's be real.
Fans are trying to even remake the re-release. It now. Did you hear that?
Really?
Yeah, they're taking like because they had the game like Nobody May Cry, where they like revamped Kingdom Hearts 2 to make it play more like Devil May Cry, and like I think like an offshoot of that project, they were going to use the Kingdom Hearts 2 engine and remake all of Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at a video of it now. It looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah, no, it's actually super impressive. It's still like a long ways away, but
it looks like they're gonna redo all the ones that didn't get a full remake. So it looks like they're doing like Coded and then 358 over 2 days, because those were like the two games that didn't get
you just get all the cutscenes. Yeah.
For those who are uninitiated, the cutscenes of those games were what got remade, not the games themselves. So it's just like it's so you can basically know what the story is, but yeah, the games themselves didn't get remade. But I think the main reason why they didn't remake them is because those particular two games, because they were built around the original DS's hardware. I think the developers realized that those games couldn't just be remastered, which is essentially what they were going for. They were going for like more of a cheap, quick remaster situation. And those games would have required a full, extensive like overhaul to make them work properly. So I think that because of that, they opted to instead do the cutscenes because it was just much faster. Now 358 over 2 days, I think, I'll be honest with you, I think the only reason that got like an actual remake is because there would have been no excuse to release 2.8 otherwise, because there wasn't anything else really on it, because it was just cutscenes, a demo game that was for Kingdom Hearts 2 or Kingdom Hearts 3, and then it would have just been another cutscene compilation, and they knew nobody was going to buy what was essentially a suited up tech demo. I still think of all the re-release collections, 2.8 final chapter prologue. Wow, that sounds retarded saying that out loud. But I think that one is probably the one that you could tell Square Enix was really struggling to justify its existence. Because essentially you were only really getting one full game. I think that's the only reason why 0.2 Fragmentary Passage. Wow, that sounds even dumber. And I'm not even saying the whole title, might I add. Its actual title is Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 0.2 Fragmentary Passage.
Yep.
But I feel like that only exists because they needed some reason to convince people to buy this game again. Like, I think that's the only reason it exists, is because of that.
And I think
it's not as though...
I think that came out like a couple years after like Type 0 came out.
Yeah.
Because I remember when they redid Type 0, how they got it to sell is like, oh, we're going to give you a demo of Final Fantasy 15. Like, buy this
basically,
PSP game.
And it's
like...
And it's...
2.8 felt the same exact thing, where it's just like, okay, we're going to give you a little bit. We're charging you for a demo.
And one thing I did like about it though is that it wasn't even false advertising though, because Kingdom Hearts 3, when it did come out, it did share a lot of similarities with like the gameplay style that was introduced in that. So like, at least while it was basically just made as an advertisement for Kingdom Hearts 3, it at least was an honest advertisement, because the final game was very similar to that. Because there have been so many times where games came out with like a demo or a sneak peek of the upcoming game, and then the game came out and it was nothing like that. So I kind of did appreciate that. And I'm assume it probably gave them a chance to get some feedback, so they knew like what to change, what to fix, like what to do this and that.
Yeah.
So I assume it probably gave them that, which was cool. One thing I was kind of sad that didn't make it from that to the final game of Kingdom Hearts 3 was I kind of liked how you could unlock like the little extra accessories and whatnot. It reminded me of how like you could get the little crowns for Sora. Like I remember that.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Like in Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah, that was like one of my favorite things. Dude, you felt like such a boss once you had that crown.
That was cool.
You felt like, oh yeah, this like it was like something to stride for. And it's so like I was kind of sad that feature didn't end up making it into Kingdom Hearts 3, because like dang, that would have been so cool to like have.
Yeah.
So do you think they're ever gonna not use Sora as like as the main?
Nah, it seems like Sora is gonna be the main character for at least like a long while. I think if they ever, because like if they go on like too long, they might make it where like we have like Sora's kids, like it becomes like a Naruto Boruto situation, like because you can only make so many games going forward without like having your character age.
Well, I mean, Sora technically got older and from like one game to the next, and I think Kingdom Hearts 3 he was slightly older as well, so he is aging a little bit.
Yeah,
but like I do think based on the direction they've been going, is they are definitely gearing up for a game where we just play as Kairi. Like, you can see that it's been in the pipe work for a while.
We got that game.
Well, I mean, yeah, with Melody.
Memory.
Yeah, but I think we're going to get a full, proper, like, regular style game. Because in that game, yeah, okay, we kind of play as her, but we're still kind of playing as Sora.
Know what I would
think we're going to get, like, a...
I would love if they get like Yoko Toro to write the next game and Sora becomes like Kaim from Drakengard.
I mean, like I said, I think what we're gonna end up getting is it's gonna be like a dream drop distance situation, but instead of Riku, it'll be Kairi.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't mind seeing like Kairi. That's like the problem is they came up with like too many Keyblade wielders now, because like throughout the list, it's like I would rather have a game where I play as like Axel before Kairi. Like,
Actually, I think that's what they're gonna do. Because like Kingdom Hearts 3, the way it was set up, makes me believe we're gonna get a game where it's gonna be like a dream drop distance situation, but instead of Sora and Riku, it's gonna be Kairi and Axel, which I think I could get behind that. I think that I could probably I could mess with that because I think it'd be interesting because their dynamic is still unseen of like how it'll play out. And I feel like Axel will be like a character that will struggle like doing the right thing because of like where he came from. So I think it'd be an interesting like counterbalance thing. So it'd be really cool to see. I'm all for it. I know there's some people that'll get mad being like, oh my God, I don't want to play as a chick, which I never really cared about playing as a chick in a game. I mean, you know,
like,
because I'm okay with,
like Kairi's earned her spot to be a playable character. It's not where they're like, she's this new character that came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's just magically better than Sora and Riku. And it's just like, oh, where have you been the entire... It's like, no, she's been there the entire time, and it's cool that she's finally got a Keyblade now.
Yeah, and it's like, now I'm hoping we finally get to see, like, her in an action. I actually would love to play as her, because I personally feel like I actually really enjoy female characters in games. I really do. It just, I want them to be done well, and not done for the sake of, okay, let's check that box so we can say we did it. I want characters that are like, I like female characters that are designed and done in a way that says, hey, we made this character and we made them as a character with the idea in mind that we wanted people to like them. We wanted people to enjoy playing as them, enjoy their story, care about what's going on. And we want their entire shtick to not just be, hey, I'm the same thing, but I'm a girl.
Yeah.
Like, I like that because Kairi is a character that has been around for so long and they've taken their time with her. So I would definitely be more than behind playing as her in a game because of the fact that, yeah, like they've built it up. So it's like, and we've done Sora and Riku to death at this point, you know? So it's like, if they switch it up and like say like Kingdom Hearts 5 or hell, even Kingdom Hearts 4, like let's say they decide to surprise us and reveal, oh yeah, by the way, Sora's not actually the player character. That trailer, that was just a teaser. You know, if they said, hey, we're playing as Kairi right now, I would actually be totally cool with that. I think that would be a really cool change. And I'm guaranteeing they would do it in a way that's like tasteful as well. It wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, Sora just somehow like just memory hold all of his skills and whatnot, like we did in Castle Oblivion. And so now he needs Kairi to save him.
Sora,
like, yeah.
Sora put all of his abilities in the Blade of Olympus and then was betrayed by Zeus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, it's like,
but like,
it's like
Hercules Zeus.
What's funny is that like some of the games even attempt to try to have like an explanation of why Sora like doesn't retain his skill from previous games.
Yeah,
and I think that's funny when they try to do that because Kingdom Hearts as a storyline is so silly that we kind of just expect like, all right, you know, it's a game, that's why we overlook it.
Yeah,
but they attempt to like come up with a story reason for why he suddenly sucks again, and it's sometimes just so absurd because they're like, oh yeah, Castle Oblivion, you forgot everything the moment you walked in the door, like you just forgot. I love how that's the explanation. There
was one scene in Kingdom Hearts 3 where I wish they did this. You know when Riku fights evil Aqua on that like evil beach thing? I wish they established that, like, because at that time Riku was a master and Aqua was a master, and you're like fighting, walking on this like water. I wish they established like some lore where it's like only like Keyblade masters can like stand on this like water and like fight on it. So if you weren't a Keyblade master, you wouldn't do it. So that would have been the perfect scene for when Sora comes in, like that light opens up, he falls, stands on the water, and like helps like Riku with the fight. it's like, you should have established that, and it's like, bam, Sora's a Keyblade Master right now. Even though he wasn't, like, declared one, he's fighting at a level that is a Keyblade. That would have been so hype. I'm so upset they didn't do that.
And I think what was really crazy, though, is that, like, that was, like, probably the funniest part about Dream Drop Distance as well, is they go through all of that for the Mark of Mastery, and then Sora fails it. I was like, bro, what? I was like, we did all of that for nothing, basically.
And, like, Sora
what?
doesn't really, like, he gets, like, sucked into darkness, like, by surprise. Like, shut up. Like...
like, it's like, that was a cheap shot, bro. Ref, is the ref watching? Is that a playable call? Come on,
and
man.
I will say, in, like, Kingdom Hearts 3...
Yensid's just a jerk. That's all it is. Yensid's just a jerk. He's just a hater, man. He can't recognize skill when he sees it, bro.
How did you feel about, like, Sora's mental breakdown at the end of, like, Kingdom Hearts 3? Like, during, like, the final, like, confrontation?
I gotta tell you, the ending to Kingdom Hearts 3, it wasn't bad, but I kind of felt like it was so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I mean, props to Leonard Nimoy. That was his final performance in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, I believe. And I don't even know if he even finished it in Kingdom Hearts 3. Actually, I don't think he did. I think somebody else voiced him in most of it. I think they only used his voice for the flashbacks. But I will say this, is that after all of that, establishing how evil this guy is, I was kind of like, Sora and them are kind of like, it's okay. Like, they had this, like, it's okay kind of attitude about it. And I'm like, no, this is the one guy where we should be like, no, he's evil. Bash him with these keyblades until he feels nothing. Like... And then in the end, he's all like, oh, I understand now. No, you don't understand nothing. This is the one enemy. We just want you to die. And we want you to die and hate dying. We want you to die and be very mad about dying. Like, yeah. It's kind of annoying that we went through all this and he's totally cool with dying. Like, no, we want you to suffer, dude. We need you to hate what's happening right now.
And
though I will admit, it's sort of a little breakdown is kind of weird, but like
for me it came out of nowhere, because it's just like they didn't.
Yeah,
it's not where they showed signs of like Sora doubting himself throughout the game, but at just the end, it's like Riku gets like caught up in the swarm of heartness, and Sora just falls to his knees and like breaks down. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what?
One thing I absolutely loved about Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's been a thing that's been throughout the entire series that became much more prominent in 3, was when they use flashbacks from the old games, they do not bother recreating those scenes. No. They just use the old graphics, and it is super funny in Kingdom Hearts 3 because the graphical jump is absolutely hilarious. That's like the level it goes.
That's like Sonic flashing back to like Sonic 2. They show like Genesis.
Yes,
like
it just reminds you of the ancient, like, and this is like something we dealt with a lot back in the day, is the cutscene graphics versus the real game graphics.
Yeah.
And it's just the most hilarious thing where, see, the funny thing is nowadays you don't even deal with that. Like, you know what I mean? The whole cutscene graphics is real, guys. The games pretty much look the same almost all the way through nowadays. But the fact that Kingdom Hearts, a game released in 2019, still does the cutscene graphics versus real graphics just shows you there's something about its core DNA that has never really changed, that stayed the same and consistent, because that is perhaps the biggest, most Kingdom Hearts thing they could do. And I thought it was hilarious because not only did they do that, but like there are so many times where they could just like recreate a scene or something. They don't even bother.
No.
And I think that's like hilarious, especially when Dream Drop Distance, where it ends, Kingdom Hearts 3 begins like only a couple of minutes after that, right?
Yeah.
So if you have the collection that you played right before it, and let's say you just finished Dream Drop Distance and you're moving on right to Kingdom Hearts 3, it's like literally you're looking at the exact same room in the exact same characters, and then so if you're watching it in sequential order, it's like 30 seconds pass, and all of a sudden Sora and Riku and stuff become much more defined. They look completely different, and it's 30 seconds have passed. It's like, imagine if you clip this together as a movie.
Yeah,
it would be super funny to see.
Well, I think another reason
it doesn't even acknowledge it.
Another reason that they might not want to like redo the cutscenes is because people might think that this is a different moment in time. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah, if
true.
you do it, it's like, okay, is this something absolutely new? So it's like,
See, I thought
no,
it was
this
crazy when they add.
we're referencing this one part in like Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2, or we're using the same cutscene. It's not
What's
new,
wild-
guys.
What's wild is they had the whole thing of other worlds and jumping across different points in the timeline and all these really confusing points. And then didn't they introduce like freaking time travel?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, just what this franchise needed. Time travel. Because things were not complicated enough. The fact that they introduced time travel and some of the time travel has not even been explained yet.
Yeah.
Is the best part. Like, that's the best part, is some of the time travel, we're still waiting on an explanation for it, where it's like, what? So now there's time travel involved. It's like the most absurd thing ever, but this is like one of those games where I know people that think the Kingdom Hearts story is absolutely, completely stupid. Like, they don't even like the story, right? But they will keep buying the games because the gameplay is just so solid. Like, it's something about the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts. It just, like, it
like,
feels good.
Yeah, like gameplay and like the way Nomura writes stories, he's very good at emotional storytelling. Emotional storytelling. So, like, I remember playing like the DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, and you play as that like the moment you play as like Mickey Mouse and you're walking down that like light road to like the keyhole, and it's like shining, like Mickey's hurt, and you have like Zemnis and everybody like shooting laser beams at me to like block. And it's like, I remember like really feeling in that moment that like I'm Mickey Mouse walking down this like to this like light, and it's just like he has the shit kicked out of him, and they have like this music playing, and I was like, you were fucking feeling it. Like, so even if you don't like the story, it still is able to like capture you emotionally.
You know what it is? I think the reason why we don't really care about like the ridiculousness of the story is because the story is very compartmentalized. You know what I mean? Like, so many times throughout the game, there are things that are absolutely ridiculous going on, but they're kind of contained within a smaller story subsection, because you have like the Disney World stories, and then you have the main story, where it's like those stories are kind of connected in their own way. Whereas like the actual like main story, like basically Kingdom Hearts, you play throughout 90% of the game, you're basically experiencing all these Disney movies being retold in a slightly different way with Sora involved in them. And it doesn't really have much to do with what Sora's got going on. And then throughout the game, you'll get bits and pieces of like the Kingdom Hearts story itself. And then when you get to like the last two worlds, it's like, okay, now that you're 90% of the way through the game, now we're going to talk only about the Kingdom Hearts story. And it's like the main story doesn't really progress until then. It's kind of like they drip feed you the little pieces. And it's like, so because of that, I feel like because of that, you're kind of conditioned to like be okay with how absurd certain things are, because the story is compartmentalized, so you don't really think too hard about it until you need to. So it's like the story kind of like conditions you to think this doesn't count or this doesn't matter right now. And so like when it does matter, it's like, okay, time to stop screwing around. Now we're gonna get serious. And it does it in a way that just makes you like totally cool with it. And I think it's like very rare for that to work.
Well, I'll say like, because I haven't played any of like the mobile games, so like I've watched like lore recaps on like what happens in like the mobile games, and they go like talk about like the Master of Masters, and it's just like, it's so weird because like I listen to that stuff and it feels like it's completely separate from what's going on with Sora and everybody. Like, it feels so like, how is this connected to like, you know, Sora and the gang? And it's like, okay, I know it has more of a connection to like the organization, it kind of like feeds into that, but it's just like, it feels like there's a completely other game story.
And it's the thing is that like the mobile games, I feel like the only reason the mobile games exist is because when smartphones really blew up in Japan, especially, Square Enix was like one of the companies that they immediately saw mobile as like a platform that they really wanted to embrace, and they still kind of do, where they've even ported like major games to mobile and stuff. But I think the problem is that mobile games in general are kind of used as like the gotcha kind of like give us your money kind of crap. And Kingdom Hearts was no exception, unfortunately, where yeah, there was a lot of microtransaction focus to the point where yeah, even progressing in the mobile games a lot of the time is focused on, you know, that. But one thing that's interesting though is that we're seeing a shift in mobile in general where a lot of companies are realizing people are getting fed up with microtransactions in games to where there's much less heavier focus going on it right now. Like a lot of games are reeling back from them, and we're starting to see companies that are actually porting real games to mobile now, like the full-fledged game, not some just gotcha give us your money cash grab. Even the ones that are considered gotcha games are still designed nowadays in a way that makes it so the games are playable without those elements. Like I know a lot of people be playing Genshin Impact and whatnot, and that's a game that apparently you can progress pretty far without paying a single dime, and you can actually like enjoy the game. You just can't enjoy it as much people that be paying. But yeah, like a lot of like that stuff is like changing, and I think that's probably why Square Enix eventually started releasing like full-fledged games on mobile and actually taking them seriously. Like as everybody in this channel knows, as I've mentioned on in the previous text boxes and on my own channel, I love Chrono Trigger, and this is the part where you could splice in my Chrono Trigger mention if you really wanted to. But when it first came out on mobile, it was regarded as a terrible port. It was unoptimized. It took up so much space because all the cutscenes and everything was uncompressed. It was regarded as a pretty crappy port, and then it just stopped working because with iOS updates and Android updates, it just didn't work. And Square Enix just didn't do anything to care about it because they were so focused on these microtransaction games. Well, they finally sit on mobile, and I have to say the new release for mobile, it's shocking to even say this. If this is your only way to experience the game, it's probably one of the top 3 definitive ways to experience the game.
Yeah. No.
Because they actually put the time in. And I'm like, yeah, even if it's the more expensive mobile app, bucks for a mobile game, if it's a full-fledged game, people are willing to pay that. And I think like that was the problem, is all these companies like Nintendo tried to do it with like, was it a Mario Jump game or whatever? And they're like, people don't want to pay $15 for a mobile game. That's what we learned. No, what they don't want to do is be given a game that's advertised for free, and then they get in the game and they have to buy the rest of the game. That's what they don't want. They don't like being bait and switch, is what they don't like. So it's like, if you just sold the game for $15 from the get-go, everyone would have been fine. And I think that that's probably why we're going to see, if we do see any more mobile games for Kingdom Hearts, I feel like we're going to get probably more full-fledged games, because they were working on one. I know it got canceled. Just recently. I can't even remember what it was called. But yeah, I mean, I think that, yeah, we're definitely gonna see that. But yeah, the mobile games, the thing about them that I thought was weird is that they're not really connected to whatever Sora is doing.
Yeah, no, it's like,
yeah, and then they did, was it Dark Road?
Yeah, it's like all like weird exposition lore about like what happened in the past, and like the foretellers, and then like you had the like Marka, or the Master of Masters, and it's like, oh, he's gonna have a big place, but it's like he hasn't interacted with Sora at all. And it's like he's apparently like seeing the events through like Xehanort's Keyblade, and it's just like, okay, but he hasn't interacted with Sora at all. So is in Kingdom Hearts 4, you building to like Sora's gonna have to like fight the Master of this like weird character that we don't really know unless you played them all. Like, so it's just weird. It's just like, where are you going with this?
So according to this, Kingdom Hearts Union and Dark Road, which Dark Road was like a single player like experience that was accessed through the same app. They're both like not only shut down in terms of online, they've been delisted. So there's no legitimate way to play either of these games now.
Yeah. And that's another bad thing about
gone.
Like making like mobile games where they're like a service, especially for like a franchise like Kingdom Hearts. It's like you can't make a limited time game that has story implications. Because it's frustrating because it explains some stuff with Xehanort
like it explained like his actual turn to darkness, which is something we actually never got to see and whatnot, even though his saga is technically over, because they even said that Kingdom Hearts 4 is the beginning of a new saga, because the previous saga was like, that was the Xehanort saga.
Yeah.
But what's really frustrating is it was a single player game that was connected to a multiplayer game, right? And they apparently, when they shut it down, like in terms of its mobile service, they said they transitioned it to being an offline game. So they basically shut down its online features and transitioned to an offline app, right? And then they re-released it in 2022 when its final update came out that made it so that it was now playable offline. But then 2 years later, they just got rid of the game entirely. Like, so it's like there was no reason to do that.
Yeah. See, like, the way you do, like, a mobile game
to do that,
right, in my opinion, is you do what, like, Mega Man Cross Dive Online did, where then when they were done, they made an Mega Man Cross Dive offline game, where it had basically all of the content, none of the, like, gacha mechanics, so you could basically just, like, do all the missions without having to worry about, like, buying more time or whatever for tries. And they just made it, like, a single-player game, and it's just, like, yeah, every mobile game should do that.
And it sucks because, yeah, like we kind of lost a part of the Kingdom Hearts history because of this. And it sucks now. I'm assuming people may have found a way to sideload it or something like that. And that's at least a temporary preservation until, you know, obviously until Android and iOS apps or iOS have evolved so much that they don't even support it anymore. Actually, if I recall, I just saw a site say a rumor that the newest version of Android come out, and I could be wrong about this. Hopefully it's not true, but apparently the newer version of Android, they're going to make it so you can no longer sideload apps that are not already approved from the Android store, which,
yeah,
if they do that,
that's Google.
If that is actually the case,
Android's
if
dead.
that's real.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
That defeats the whole purpose of Android. Like, the whole reason people would choose Android over iOS is because you can customize it and sideload and tinker with it.
Yeah.
If you do this, you're just making it into iOS. Like, and also it's going to be pointless because I guarantee people are already going to find a way around it easily. Yeah. And so all you're really doing is delaying the inevitable. I mean, because like I said, we talk about the Odin on this channel quite a bit, and you know, this is the opportunity to bring it up once again. It's that's what makes the Odin great, is even if there's an app that's like an emulator that's like not on the store, you can sideload that bad boy. Because yeah, there was stuff that got delisted, and so you can sideload, and that makes it really good. And on top of that, having control over like your SD card and managing your file stuff, like, dude, I got Scummy VM running on there.
Yeah,
like, that's incredible. Being able to play point and click adventure games from DOS days on the Odin just feels good. Like, this is really awesome. I have RuneScape on the freaking Odin. Like, it can do so much, and I'm like, and I get so much mileage out of that device because was it the other day, me and my wife wanted to I was trying to watch the Persona 5 anime, right, with my wife, who had never played Persona. She's never played any of them, and I wanted to tell her about the story, but I didn't want to try to make her sit through me playing 100 plus hours. Like, oh, let's watch the anime, right? So I take the Odin and I plug it into I got a little USB power supply that's like a high voltage one, and I got plugged into the next to the TV, and then I just plugged the HDMI mini in that bad boy, and I got this little wireless like handheld keyboard and mouse that you can just hold in your hand. It's kind of like a little control pad, and I'm watching anime on my 4K television just with the Odin, and I'm getting no slowdown, no screen time. I was like, this is incredible. Like, this device, if they took that away from me, that device's value, if they take that away, that device's value plummets from being a $400 device to going down to be like a $200 device, because now I can only do what Google approves of me doing. Yeah. I might as well just buy an iPhone. Yeah, no, it's insane. It's so freaking stupid. But one good thing is, like, if you don't update your Odin, you could like sideload it, because like I have a Retroid Pocket Mini and it uses Android 10, and a lot of people don't know this, but the game Life is Strange there's actually like a Android port of it that you could download, but it doesn't work on current things of Android, but it does work on Android 10. So on my Retroid Pocket Mini, I'm able to play the entire game of Life is Strange.
And apparently, that's another Square Enix game. Apparently, they don't want to fix it, and they know it. So I download the game. The first episode's free. Then you have to buy the rest. It was only like $7, so I paid like $7 for the rest of the.
Great game, by the way.
Yeah,
great game, by the way.
$7 for like the rest of the episodes, and then I downloaded them and they work. The game works fine, but then Square Enix, or like I technically Google, refunded me the money because they're like, oh, this doesn't work. So,
and it sucks because, and this is why, and I have a feeling this is why Kingdom Hearts Dark Road was delisted. I think I know what's going to happen. And this seems to be a common problem with mobile games, and this is probably why most people don't take mobile as a serious gaming platform, is because when we talked about this, I think in the very first like podcast or TextBox that we did together, is that game preservation.
Yeah.
These companies do not want you to have games.
No.
They don't want you to have them. They want you to have a temporary license. And by the way, mobile is the perfect example of how temporary they want that license to be, by the way. Like, people are thinking like, oh, well, it'll be there for years. I've got stuff I had from years that I bought digitally. No. You don't understand. If they had their way, you would have it for like 2 years. They take it away, and then you have to buy it again.
Yeah,
because when they did the re-release of Chrono Trigger on Android, might I add, a platform it was already on, that you may have purchased it previously, right? And then it stopped working because the new Android version came out that made it stop working. When they re-released it, they did not just give you the new one for free. You'd buy it again. That's what they want. Yeah, and I guarantee you that is what's going to happen with Dark Road. It will get some kind of re-release, and it'll re-release again on mobile. I'm sure. By the way, it's not going to re-release on a platform where you can own it forever.
No, it's not going to re-release on mobile. No.
Yeah. They're just going to update it to work on the current mobile, and then re-release it, and they're going to have to pay for it. That's what they're going to do.
Like,
and they're going to do it for sale.
The closest thing you can get.
They'll add a little bit more content, and then
if they make it a Switch game, you'll be able to buy it. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Maybe. Keyword maybe, because
it's just
with the way the Switch 2 is going.
Well, don't worry. You always have the cloud service for Kingdom Hearts 1.5 through 3 on the Switch 1. You have this cloud game.
I knew. Oh my god, I knew that was gonna come up. I knew that was gonna come up in this. I knew it was gonna come up. I was trying to avoid bringing it up because I didn't want to just retread old ground. But I somehow in my mind, I knew you were gonna bring that crap up. I just knew it was coming up because I knew we had to talk about it. I knew there was no way around it.
It is the definitive version to play Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. I have so much to say about that version. I have so much that I want to say. I'll try to contain myself. Now, full disclosure, I own a Nintendo Switch. I like the Nintendo Switch. I have quite a few games for it. I ended up owning more games than I thought I would. And it has a lot of really great exclusive games. Now, granted, I'm the kind of person where when I buy Nintendo, I usually only buy games that are exclusive to Nintendo, or I have a very specific reason for buying them on Nintendo. For example, when I did my Chrono Cross video, I bought the Switch version over the PS4 version because the PS Switch version had a physical copy. So that was my main reason for that one. So most of the time, that's what I do. And Kingdom Hearts on Nintendo Switch makes me so mad because
it's the only platform that has all the games. It has all the games and Melody of Memory.
Yes, but you can also get them all on the PS4.
Is Melody of Memory on the PS4? Yeah, it is. Never mind.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And
I thought that was a Switch. Okay. I thought it was a Switch exclusive because the only reason I bought that game was to get Dearly Beloved in Smash Brothers. That was it.
So here's the thing. I can understand Kingdom Hearts 3 being a cloud game on the Switch because, yes, even though it released in 2019, it definitely was a game that at the time pushed the engine to its limits, and the Switch was already 2 years old at that point. And yes, even getting it running at 30 frames per second would have probably been a challenge. It might have been able to be done, but yes, okay, that one I can forgive. And they got the idea from Capcom because Capcom did release like Resident Evil 7 and 8 on the Switch via cloud as well, which I don't know anyone who owns those. owning is a very
Yeah.
polite term here. But 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8, I have no understanding as to why those are cloud games.
Because they just...
I have no... There is no reason, because those games ran on the PS3.
Yeah.
They could have just... Even if they had to drop the frame rate down to 30 frames per second, even if they had to do that, there is no reason that they shouldn't have just been on a single Switch cartridge with all the games on them. There is no reason for that.
Yep.
It was the dumbest... The only reason it exists like that is because Square Enix... Let's put it this way. When Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, the Switch was still relatively new. It was like about 18 months old or so, right? And it was gaining popularity, but everybody still kind of saw it as like, oh, it's only popular right now because it's like the new trend. It's a handheld that's kind of a console. And so a lot of developers didn't have a lot of faith in it. So they just assumed that once the hype dies down, people won't care about it. Well, the hype never died down. People were still demanding these full-fledged games on the Switch, which, cool. So when Square Enix wanted to get in on that cash cow, but they wanted to get in on it with the least amount of investment possible. So they just slapped together a cloud version of the game and called it a day. And it was so lazy.
And doesn't that cost them longer in the long run? Don't you have to maintain that server so they could play your cloud game? Where if you were to just put it on a cartridge, that's one time. It's so dumb.
Well, I don't know, because you know what? Maybe it is cheaper to run it on the server. What is the cost of a potato these days?
Yeah. It's just I
bought a whole bag of... I went to the store and bought a whole bag of potatoes for €5 the other day, so... Because the server, by the way, is in fact a potato, because apparently a lot of people said that, there's issues even getting it working half of the time, so... It's not good.
I remember...
And the Switch's online experience is always kind of laggy in general.
Yeah. Well, I remember I got the cloud, or tested out the cloud gaming for the game Control on the Switch. And I booted it up. I tried to play it. And I had to wait in line for, my turn to play the game. I was in a lobby being well, you gotta wait for someone, and I was like, no.
It's basically they have 2 copies of the game, and they just pass those 2 cartridges around.
Yeah. And it's just no, I'm not waiting in line to play games.
Oh my god. It's so frustrating because some of those games that were on there were originally Nintendo's Kingdom Hearts games.
Yeah.
So it's super insulting that they couldn't even put the effort to remaster the games that were already on Nintendo for Nintendo. It's... Maybe Nintendo pissed Square Enix off over the years. I mean, they obviously had to have pissed them off at some point because...
Well, we know that Square Enix... Yeah, with Final Fantasy VII.
Yes, because Square Enix just said they went over to Sony, and I guess after that, they've been just... It's been a rocky relationship, which is crazy because Nintendo is pretty much the reason Square Enix is even still around. Nintendo kept them on the map. People knew the NES and the Super NES. Those were the consoles that Square Enix had some of their best games on. To this day, you say the name Final Fantasy 6 or 3 if you were in the States. You say Final Fantasy Super Nintendo, people go, oh yeah, they know. You say Chrono Trigger, people show up. Even and that console.
You say Dare to Cerberus, people.
yeah, right. Heck, even Secret of Mana, excellent game.
Yes,
great game. They had so many fantastic games on the Super Nintendo, and then the relationship fell apart. And I think it was mostly because when they began development of Final Fantasy VII, they did earnestly attempt to try to make a N64 game, and they even had a tech demo, but it was they just couldn't figure out to meet their vision because the N64's limitation of its storage size. Graphically, it was capable of so much. but we will probably never know what the N64's graphics were truly capable of, because developers had to constantly compromise what they wanted to make because the storage size was just too small. So we'll never really know what the N64 could have done. And it sucks. And Square Enix, after that, kind of like moved to PlayStation, and Kingdom Hearts kind of came from like a really weird partnership, you know? And I think it wasn't even ever intended to be like this whole franchise. I think it was meant to be like a one-off thing, and it was kind of left open to where like maybe if we can do another one, we'll do another one.
Yeah.
And now,
like, I am shocked that like Kingdom Hearts became a series, because if I was Square Enix and it had decision-making power there, and we made like Kingdom Hearts, the first thing I would do is like, okay, we're gonna make a Final Fantasy game that's just Kingdom Hearts, but without any of the Disney. Take that game engine, make it an action RPG, get even Nomura to do the characters and stuff on it, but we are just making our own Kingdom Hearts. But they never did that.
Kingdom Hearts in general, yeah. I feel like Kingdom Hearts in general kind of set the standard of how 3D action RPGs are supposed to feel.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like most action RPGs after Kingdom Hearts are trying to mimic that same game field of Kingdom Hearts, but not in like a bad way, not in like this, oh, we're copycat way, but in a, this is the standard. If we don't at least hit this, we're doing something wrong.
Well, I even say today, like Kingdom Hearts 2, even though how old it is, it's still one of the best combat systems
absolutely.
In any like action
Kingdom Hearts
RPG.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is probably the best combat of any of the games. It takes everything it had from 1 and it fixes some of its issues. And then on top of that, it just plays so good.
Like,
and it doesn't overdo it. Forms are fun to use. Your forms are just great and they all feel different. And they're just getting that final form.
Oh, it's so cool.
You just feel like you just feel so cool the first time you unlock it. It's just so awesome.
Well, like Kingdom
Hearts, maxing out your forms.
Yeah. Well, like Kingdom Hearts 2, it's like I remember I love fighting Sephiroth under-leveled because I want the fight to drag out more. Because if you're like over-leveled, it's over pretty quick. But if you're like level 40 and you fight Sephiroth, it's like it's this really like fun fight where it's like you have to dodge and block and use reflect and then like hit the triangle counter and like fly away from his meat. Like it's such a good fight that it's just like I actually want to be weaker and play this game.
I think the best part of in both the game for all fights, right? They're both high points. First of all, Sephiroth Kingdom Hearts 1 is definitely harder than Sephiroth Kingdom Hearts 2.
No mistake.
You have much less abilities to work with in 1. And 1's like controls at times are a little bit floaty, like your jumps are kind of floaty, you kind of commit to your jump arc a little bit. And 2, the amount of combo chain and aerial moves you have when you fight Sephiroth like at endgame versus if you fight him like the first chance you have to encounter him, they're two different battles. The first time you encounter him, it is a struggle to keep up with him. When you fight him with that end game setup where you have all the best moves, you are just chaining air combos to the point where Sephiroth does not even know which way is up.
Yeah.
I had a friend once that was huge Final Fantasy VII fan, right? And he said, and when he said at one word, he said 2 words, he says, there are only 2 things that can beat Sephiroth. Cloud and me with a controller. And that statement remains true because Sora just loading some of those moves. Yeah. And then Cloud comes in and it's like, Cloud, you look way less cool by comparison to what just happened. Like, you don't even know what kind of hell was unleashed in this series. And the best part is Sephiroth responds to it in such the perfect in-character way. He just brushes it off and just goes, I guess only Cloud can really hurt me. He just insults that amazing skill you just did. And it's so perfect because it makes me feel like that's exactly what he would do too. It was done so well.
Well, I do like these little like Final Fantasy shorts I call Final Fantasy. I have a few up on my channel, shameless plug.
Yeah.
But I have one idea. I haven't animated it yet, but I had one where it's like I would have Sephiroth like appear in like Kingdom Hearts and he fights Sora for the first time, and the whole thing was like you have like Sephiroth come down looking all cool, and then like Sora would like run up to him and like hit him with his Keyblade, and like Sephiroth would just like block it, and then like there'd be like a wind gust, and like Sephiroth would like knock Sora away, and just like the whole encounter would be like Sephiroth would be like, you're not ready, and like Sephiroth like goes off the Coliseum stage and like goes back like in the back where like no one could see him, and his hand's shaking and he's like crying because he's like, holy shit.
What's good, but as far as though the Kingdom Key fights though, I have to say, like as far as the Sephiroth fights go, the first one definitely harder than the second one. The second one definitely cooler than the first one in terms of spectacle. It's really cool. But I have to admit, there is something about the fact that the way Sephiroth enters in the original game, and not even the final mix version, like the original, where we didn't even have that cutscene after the fight was over, where he just shows up unannounced, no explanation, nothing, and then when the fight's over, it's just over with no explanation.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about that feels very him. Like, it's so like that's what you'd expect him to do. But I will say my credentials. Now, granted, I'm a bit older now, so it might take me a little bit of practice to do it again. Kingdom Hearts 1, original version, and Final Mix as well, because I did it again in Final Mix. But in Final Mix, I did it on, it was level 18, proud mode, or hard, whatever you want to call it. Level 18, Kingdom Key.
Damn. That's
and
intense.
keep in mind in the first game, the capabilities of your weapons were significantly different than the second game, because the second game I think was that the final sword was like the ultimate weapon was like 4 times stronger than your original weapon, whereas in Kingdom Hearts 1 it was like 4 times stronger, whereas in Kingdom Hearts 1 I think it was like, or Kingdom Hearts 2 I think it's only twice as strong. Because I think in Kingdom Hearts 2 it's more based on the ability, whereas the ultimate weapon has MP as Testaga, which is like much better. And remember, keep in mind, in Kingdom Hearts 1 the way your MP worked is it didn't recharge over time. You had, so if you were dying and you were out of MP, you had to get aggressive to heal now. You had to get aggressive. It was an intense fight, but I will say that it was fun to do. I don't know if I could do it again. I'm at least, I'm a good 12, 13, 14 years older now, but it was definitely an interesting fight. But Sephiroth, definitely is. I always loved the extra content in Kingdom Hearts. I feel like those are some of the best moments, is when you get to that end game extra stuff. Like Lingering Will, holy crap.
Oh, that's a fucking... The only way I could beat him was when there's this really like cheap, cheesy way to beat him where you unequipped all your combo
he's talking
pluses.
About the Ferrier.
Yeah, and then you just like
the
jump and like hit him like really quick and still knocking him until he's dead. Like...
Yeah, you have to pull it off like flawlessly.
Yeah.
I found out about that after I beat him legitimate the first time. I felt so stupid.
That, and it's just like in Birth by Sleep when you fight like Vanitas's like dark spirit or whatever. The best way to beat him is to equip a bunch of strike raids, and then there's this one big rock in this area where if you run around it, he'll get stuck and like try to run into it, and you can just strike raid him to death. he just gets stuck there.
One of my favorite things that I found out about, and I even did like a little joke recording of it a long time ago, was in Rechain of Memories, and it specifically works in Rechain of Memories, right? And this just gives you an idea of how 3-dimensional space was not really considered when doing this remake. Is any humanoid-based enemy, so like be it Riku or one of the Organization 13 members, there is a strategy for beating all of them that works pretty much every time. It involves just using Sonic Raid Sonic Blade over and over and over. So just tapping that triangle button. So I did like a little clip that I did one time as a joke where you can just see me hitting the triangle button over and over again. I'm not even looking at the screen, and Riku is just getting decimated. And I'm just going, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories is a really hard game, guys. It's very difficult. So the step 1, you use Sonic Raid or Sonic Blade. Step 2, there really isn't a step 2. You just keep using Sonic Blade. Sonic Blade is broken. Sonic Blade is beyond broken. It's so funny, and like almost no enemy ever card breaks it because the card stack you need to do it is high enough to where it's extremely rare that an enemy ever breaks. I don't think any time I ever did it in the entire game did it get card broke. I think it never did. So like enemies that are supposed to be really difficult end up being insanely easy because you can just spam that. And I remember I was watching somebody play it and they weren't using it and they were struggling this fight with Riku, and I was like, please just use Sonic Blade. Just use Sonic Blade. Get it over with. Like, seriously, why are you dragging this out? I feel like a jerk though, because I think I guess I was kind of backseat gaming, and I was kind of a dick. And if they're watching this, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. My bad, whatever.
Don't
hopefully
worry, no
things are going good
these.
for you. That's fine. But and it's just like, but yeah, it's just like there's every little Kingdom Hearts game has like these little quirks. There's all these like little cheeses that you can do in virtually every single one to overcount some like similar really ridiculous parts. And it's just funny to me that like seems as though every single Kingdom Hearts game has some kind of like part that's really annoying, and then people have discovered some kind of cheesy way to bypass it. And that just remains funny to me of how dedicated people are to like finishing these games. I mean, I gotta admit, getting the platinum in some of them is a huge pain in the ass. The gummy missions in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 are a huge pain. They're so annoying. But strangely enough, in 3,
3 is like the best part. Like, it's so good.
They were much more forgiving. They were so much more forgiving to where they felt decent. I'm like, oh, okay, I can get behind this. Like, yeah. Like 3, it was like, that was the one thing I liked, is that they redesigned the gummies stuff to where it was much more simplified, but at the same time much more engaging, where I was like, see, this is what I want. This is what I liked, is that, yeah. Because it was cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was cool in 2. That was one thing I really liked about Kingdom Hearts in general, is that it felt like every game you got like a compilation of mini games, and Square Enix clearly loves doing mini games. They love mini games, and Kingdom Hearts has so many of them that like the gummy missions just kind of felt like you kind of got like another game within the game. So you got like this little arcade game in there, and I kind of liked that. Like, yeah, they're frustrating as hell at times, but like it's kind of cool that you get like a break. It's kind of like how Persona is, where you kind of have 3 different styles of game in one. Like Kingdom Hearts isn't just an action RPG, you know? It's an arcade game. It's all these other things. And I feel like it's a good example of that. And it knows what to do. And I kind of like that. Yeah, you don't just get one game. You get like a bunch of really cool stuff within it. And there's like, you could spend hours just doing the gummy missions if you really wanted to. Like, you don't even have to play like the main game for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that as well.
No, that's what I like about like video games in general, especially like PS2 games. A lot of PS2 games do that. Nowadays, it's just like they're so much like movies. They don't give you time to just like sit back and play the game at your own pace. It's just like, no, well, you can do this mini game, but it's only here in this one part of this story, and then once you do that, you can't like go back freely. You have to like do the rest. I just like, this is stupid.
That's like what I really That's what I really liked about the Persona games. Like, I'm playing Persona 3 Reloaded, and that's one thing I really enjoyed, is that you basically get like a dating sim combined with a visual novel combined with a JRPG. So it's like, if you get too bored of playing one aspect of the game for too long, you can switch it up. And I kind of like that they give you that level of freshness. And I feel like that's the main reason why only like companies like Square Enix or like Atlas and whatnot, and mostly like Japanese developers, I feel like that's the main reason as to why they continue to be able to be like the industry standard for a lot of the time, is because they're still trying to innovate, do something different than what other people have done. And I think that's actually really cool, because there's a lot of companies out there where they just continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, and they're just trying to mimic like what has always worked. And I think that that's like part of what I really enjoy about Kingdom Hearts, is that the next Kingdom Hearts game that comes out, you know, it's going to be fresh. It's going to have some of that traditional Kingdom Hearts experience that you know and love, but at the same time, not just being, oh, it's more of the same. Yeah. Like, they're always trying to do something different. Like, Kingdom Hearts 3 had its own myriad of mini games and stuff, which, yeah, okay, admittedly, maybe not as strong as some of the others, but I think the only reason we probably don't see Kingdom Hearts 3 that way is because after how long we had to wait for it, it was kind of like, it's kind of like our expectations were probably like they probably were unrealistic. I ain't gonna lie. I probably had extreme expectations, and I enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 3 a whole lot. I still think it's a very solid game. It may not be the best game in the series. I'm not gonna say it's the worst either.
I just think it's like really
I
disappointing. Like it's a good game. I was just disappointed with it. When all said and done, I was just like, eh.
I feel like if Kingdom Hearts 3 was instead of Kingdom Hearts 3, if it was like a side game, we'd probably be like, all right, I feel like that's really what it boils down to. Is if Kingdom Hearts 3 was a side game, we would all probably be like, okay,
Yeah.
But because it was hyped up as like the big thing, and yeah, it did conclude the saga, but I felt like the conclusion wasn't as big and as dramatic as we thought it was going to be. I mean, granted, it's still a fantastic game, and the one thing that stays consistent is that yes, the gameplay is still as solid as you always remember Kingdom Hearts games to be. That's like the one thing, if you haven't even played Kingdom Hearts 3 and if you're watching this video like, oh, should I play it, should I not play it, the one thing you can probably take away is knowing that if you haven't played Kingdom Hearts, and if you haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3 yet and you're wondering is it worth playing, I think it really boils down to the fact that if you play Kingdom Hearts because you enjoy the great Kingdom Hearts gameplay, you're not going to be disappointed. It's gonna deliver on that because it does maintain that really excellent combat. Now, in terms of combat, I will say Kingdom Hearts 3 difficulty-wise is probably the easiest of the main ones.
Definitely.
Because I don't think I died a single time doing Kingdom Hearts 3, and I played it on proud mode.
I played on proud mode. I can't remember if I died or not.
I've come to find out that apparently I guess I come to find out that a lot of people are saying if you played on normal, it was like playing on easy. There was a lot of people I know that said they wish they had played on proud because if you don't play on proud, the game's like too easy. And I think maybe they did that because some people were like saying Kingdom Hearts 2, they're like, oh, it's a little bit harder than it was in 1. But I never really felt like, okay, Kingdom Hearts 2 critical mode, yeah, that was some of that was crazy. Like I'll admit some of Kingdom Hearts 2's critical difficulty was, I mean, the fact that you start the game with only like with a fraction of the health that you finish the game with only like a fraction of the health that you normally would get. Yeah, okay, sure, that could be a huge pain. But like, I don't know, I never really felt that 2 was too easy. I kind of always felt it was like it was right where the difficulty needed to be. I mean, okay, unless you're playing on critical mode, but
yeah.
Other than that, I always felt like 2's difficulty
I always
was
felt that
fair.
like 2 was easier because they upgraded like Sora's combat abilities so much without really upgrading the enemies from like Kingdom Hearts 1. So I feel like if I was able to take Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora into Kingdom Hearts 1, it would be the easiest game in the world. Like if I could like move the way I can move in Kingdom Hearts 2, like
yeah, because 1's controls felt kind of stiff at times.
Yeah.
There were times when its controls were a little bit stiffer. And I don't even know how to describe it. It's just if you play it and then go play 2 and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Like that's like, I think James Rolfe said it best when he said that like control is one of the hardest things to talk about in a game because unless you've played it, it's really hard to understand. I think the only time I ever saw a single review that explained how bad controls would be without ever having to actually play it, and this to this day is burned into my memory because it's so funny, is I had a friend who had I had him on Steam, and there was a game he was reviewing. I can't remember which game it was. I wish I could. But his review, in only one sentence, gave you the perfect idea of how awful these controls are because all you had to do was look down. You just had to look down to understand how his review explains how awful the controls are. The review just said, press P to jump. And I looked down at my keyboard and I go, oh my God. The moment you look down at your keyboard, you immediately understand. And then I was like, and he's like, and no, you cannot remap the controls. Bruh. P to jump. That was probably like the best review I've ever seen that perfectly explained bad controls in just one sentence. And that's the thing is it's hard to explain bad controls. And I don't want to say Kingdom Hearts 1's controls are bad. They feel a little stiff. But
Yeah.
to be fair, I've been playing a lot of PS2 games, especially for my videos. I've been playing a lot of them lately, and I just kind of noticed that stiffness is just kind of comes with the territory with PS1 or PS2 games. It just kind of is something that just happens, you know? Like, I feel like that's just really what it is that PS2 games in general have like a stiffness about them at times, and it's just something you kind of deal with.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's
like
there's just something about them.
Yeah, like Kingdom Hearts 1, because again, I recently played, and I played the PlayStation 2 American version. It was like, it feels like, because like you control the camera with the L2 and R2 buttons. Like the analog stick, the right stick moves the menu, and it's just like, oh, they didn't know about cameras yet. Like they didn't know about analog control cameras yet. Oh, and it's just like it play again. Like Kingdom Hearts 1 is still probably, out of all like the action RPGs on like the PlayStation 2, it's up there with like probably one of the best controllings. But like Kingdom Hearts 2 is like the best controlling PlayStation 2 RPG. Just the camera's more zoomed out in 2. Sora has like a better jump, especially when you get like your drive forms and the glide. It's like you literally can just move around the battlefield. Like,
oh yeah, and I think that's really what it boils down to, is that at the end of the day, I think it really is just like two really feels like they just fixed a lot of the issues that 1 had. Like there's just a lot of things where 2 just kind of improved upon like a lot of the issues that 1 was struggling with. And the 1 is definitely still an excellent game. It's just that 2 just kind of, I mean, the MP system in 1 is just it's brutal at times, because it is a huge pain, and it requires a heavy reliance on using ethers whenever like you are in a bad spot. Whereas 2, you kind of felt like the game was still challenging because they upped the difficulty of a lot of your encounters in 2 to make up for the fact that the controls were more on your side now. And I feel like it balances it very, very well. I mean, okay, some of those data fights in the final mix version can be quite a challenge, but 2, you never really felt like the difficulty was unfair. I mean, okay, there's like maybe only in the end game, like meta content, maybe. Like, okay, some of the Mushroom 13 can be a huge pain in the butt. Like, some of them are a huge pain, don't get me wrong, but I feel like 2, the difficulty feels more just right. To be fair, maybe even with Kingdom Hearts 3, while some people say yes that it's an easier game, I'd say the difficulty felt just somewhat just right, especially if this was your entry point into the series. It probably was a smarter move, because 1, if you play on normal and you don't do any of the extra content, 1 is not that bad. But when you start getting to doing like the Sephiroth fight and everything, the stiffness of the controls really starts to become obvious then, because some of those fights are brutal like that. With like it's just
like literally
it's just
when you
one of
fight
those
Sephiroth,
games.
it literally feels like he could just like dance around you, and you're just like, shit, like fuck, I just can't catch this guy. And it's just like, I will say I do like the Ice Titan fight though, because I like how the Ice Titan, you have to block him to death. So like,
that was
like a really interesting fight.
Like,
that's something that Kingdom Hearts 2 didn't do. Where like Kingdom Hearts 1, they would have like interesting fights. Yeah.
That was one thing I was disappointed by, is that fights like that were not like, I liked how they had some interesting ideas for a fight like that, where the fight played much differently than like anything else in the games, in the entire game. And I was kind of disappointed to not see more encounters like that. I would have liked to have seen more encounters like that, where you had to be a little bit more creative. But unfortunately, it just, maybe they didn't get time. I don't know, but it's unfortunate, because that would have been cool to see more battles like that one, because that one was actually a really interesting idea, and I liked that it was something different.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, like fighting the Ice Titan, it's just like, you realize like attacking him is like, no, this doesn't work. You just have to like stand in like the stand run back and forth and just block when he shoots like ice missiles at you to like knock him out, and then you can like hit him a few times and just like repeat that. And I was like, wow, why didn't like Kingdom Hearts 2 have a fight where you had to like reflect your enemy to death or something?
And that's the thing is that, yeah, I would have liked to see more stuff like that. And I think maybe they just didn't have the time.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of their
that's
boss fights, they were more concerned with doing the reaction commands.
Yeah.
Like, cool moment. But it's just
and
like,
I think
that wasn't really hard. You just hit triangle.
And I think that's really what it really boiled down to, is that we didn't really get as much of unique stuff like that. But to be fair, like I said, I think it more had to do with the fact that it probably had more to do with the fact that people's expectations were probably like really, really high, so they had to focus more on the core game.
I mean, I'm not complaining. Kingdom Hearts 2 is like one of the best PS2 games ever made. So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely,
so it's like they focused on the right stuff.
I mean, that's the thing, is that the biggest question is the final mix version the better version or not?
I'd say the final mix version's better.
I feel like
which one? Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2?
Of those,
I think it's better for
two.
both. Never mind.
One is obviously like, one is one of those things where, yeah, one is one of those things where it's kind of like debatable.
Now, 2,
because I know that
there's too much good added content in 2, like going to like the Chamber of Remembrance and like the Lingering Will, and you actually get the crowns, and then you have like the crowns that you need to collect in the world.
Fighting those stupid freaking car things in the Chamber of Remembrance. I remember that. Oh my god, they were so frustrating. They were so but still fun. But
yeah,
oh my gosh.
But you needed reflect.
So many.
And like the thing about the Chamber of Remembrance is you can get there fairly early. Like it opens up early on in the game, but then like you are way under. Like if you go there the first time, you are way under leveled to like fight those fucking cars.
Yeah, it basically
dude.
whoops. It basically beats the crap out of you. Yeah, you get there and it beats you down. I was like, dang, bro. Like, it's like, dang, bro. It's damn. Like that one sucked.
And like I like how
because you discover it and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and like I like how you can't progress until you mastered like your drive forms to get the abilities as like normal Sora. Because like you need the glide.
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
And it's like I wish there was more
cool,
areas like that like capped your progression for the drive forms.
That was what was cool, is the fact that it kind of forced you to really use everything you had. And I liked that. I really enjoyed that, actually.
Yeah, Final Mix Kingdom Hearts, it's so good. It's so good.
It's just a shame.
I'd even say My Sanctuary is a better song than Simple and Clean. I'm on that camp.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I actually agree with that. That song was really good.
I remember when Kingdom Hearts 2 was coming out, and we would have like a TV on somewhere, and they would have the commercial, and it would always, because like they changed like their Square Soft logo to Square Enix, and like you would hear it because like the TV would go silent. You hear the little jingle for the Square Enix logo, and then it's just like you start hearing My Sanctuary, and it's like every time I would run to the TV, I'm like, oh, it's a Kingdom Hearts commercial. It's like I love that song.
It's just, it's one thing I thought was weird is, did you ever notice that especially in Kingdom Hearts 2 the reliance on money is significantly less, to where you kind of forget halfway through the game that you even have it, because it doesn't really become prominent to like the end game.
To go to the train to go to the beach you never go to. Then you never need money ever again.
Right? Well, you do if you're trying to end game stuff, because eventually they make it so you can buy like materials you use for synthesis. But like if you're just playing the game regularly and not to like just like to 100% the game, You can pretty much get through the entire game without ever really spending any money. Yeah, it's kind of weird that I feel like the currency system in the game was just kind of forgotten about.
I don't.
You know, it's
did I even use money in Kingdom Hearts 3?
I don't remember if I did or not.
I know you
I
got
don't
like
remember
those
if I did. I probably
coins for like
did. Yeah, I
the
probably
continue or
did.
whatever,
I just don't
but, like,
remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was honestly the thing about Kingdom Hearts 3 in general, is that it felt more forgettable than the other ones. Like the other ones felt much more memorable, to where 3, it wasn't even a bad game. Like I said, I know we said that, like I've said that like a million times already, but I don't know. It's just like, I think it really had to do with the fact that we waited 14 years for it, so we were probably expecting so much more. And what we got still good. I'm really hoping Kingdom Hearts 4 does something new.
Yeah, my biggest thing is like with Kingdom Hearts 3 is like it didn't feel like the epic conclusion I was told it was supposed to be. Like, I hate how the final game in this arc, the story's main themes is friendship, almost none of your friends are in that game. There are no Final Fantasy characters in it. Most of the cast that you went through in the first 2 games are not there at all. And it's just like, you have this game about friendship, and it's just like, oh, you just meet a few new people, and then you fight Xehanort. And like, with Kingdom Hearts 3, I have never played a game where a plot resolution happened one after another, after another, after another. Like, I was shocked when you're fighting in the Keyblade Graveyard, and you're going from, like, fight to fight as Sora, like, walking through that, like, maze, like, structure. And it's just, like, every time you get into a fight, it's like, okay, we resolved the like, Axel, Xion, Roxas storyline. Then, like, you go to this one, okay, now we resolved Naminé's back. And then you, like, go to this one, it's like, okay, now Terra's back, and Aqua and Ven are reunited. And it's just, like, one after another. And it's just like, this pacing's terrible. Like, what?
And that's the thing I thought was crazy about it, is the fact that, like...
Okay, this is the best
just kind of felt like
analogy
they got to...
for me. Have you ever... Like, you've seen South Park, right?
Of course, I have the first, like, 25 seasons on Blu-ray.
Do you remember the episode where they try to find Cartman's dad?
Yeah, and his dad
Kingdom
ends up
Hearts
being
3,
like his mom.
Well, Kingdom Hearts 3 ends the way that episode ended, where they had, like, a narrator, like they have a whole bunch of, like, these unanswered, like, plot threads, and the narrator's like, and it's like, next time on, will we figure out, like, these like, answers? And he's like, we're gonna figure them out right now, and he just says them one after another. He's like, Cartman's father's like, not him, it's him. And then it's just like, the episode ends. That's what I felt like Kingdom Hearts 3 was. It was just like, and this is over, okay, it's all done. Like, what?
I think what it is like, yeah, it's like, I think it's because they tried to encompass, like, all of these plot threads, like, closing in one game, and then they kind of forgot about them until close to the end of the game. Like, oh crap, we actually have to, like piece it all together now. Like,
yeah, like a lot of those resolutions I wanted to see, and I'm happy with, like, how it, like, ended up, but it's just like, you should have sprinkled them throughout the game. Like, the first thing you should have done was save Aqua, and then, like, the halfway point is, like, you rescue Ven, and then maybe, like, somewhere along the way, like, reunite, like, you know, Axel, Xion, and Roxas somehow, and then, like, build that up. But, like, having it all front-loaded at the end of the game was so jarring.
And the other thing that sucks about that is it meant that we got no chance to see any real interactions with those characters either.
Yeah.
They're just kind of standing there in the final cutscene, so we didn't really get to see, like, how any of these events affected them or anything, or any kind of real dialogue or interaction with them. So it kind of sucked because, like, yeah, there could have been so much more. But especially considering, like, it took, like, forever for Sora to become, like, fully aware of, like, who Roxas was and everything. So it's kind of like, and there he is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, yeah, it just...
And, like, they brought it, like, a replicant body for him to, like, go in. Because, like...
Yeah,
and it was like, where the fuck did you get that? Like, what?
We just have that. And the Kingdom Hearts universe cloning is totally,
we mentioned
like, it's
that
easy to do.
Once before, you know? We were working on it.
if cloning and creating a replicant body and transferring your consciousness into it was so easy to do, what the hell was Xehanort doing? You know, like,
Yeah.
why didn't Xehanort just do that? It just feels like everything else he did was completely pointless then.
Oh.
And also, the other thing that we haven't even mentioned yet is the fact that we don't even really know what Kingdom Hearts is.
It's a plot device. Like, it's all it is.
Yeah, like we don't even really know what it is. We don't even really have.
Well,
we
again,
don't even really have an idea of what it actually is.
Like, okay, it's like he's doing all this to like recreate the Keyblade, which is like spelled like X Blade, but it's pronounced Keyblade.
Yeah, right.
And like it looks awesome, and it's just like it doesn't do it. Like nothing does anything. Like, okay.
But that's the thing, is that we don't even really know what it is.
Yeah.
It's appeared throughout the entire franchise, and we know it's like a doorway, but we still have no idea what it is. It's apparently the source of the ultimate power.
And it's like, is Kingdom Hearts the doorway, or is Kingdom Hearts the heart-shaped moon? Like...
Yeah, and it's
because there's no doorway when Xehanort opened it up in like the end of 3. We got the heart-shaped moon. But then you having like Kingdom Hearts 1 Anthem talking about the doorway, then it opens up and like vaporizes them.
And on top of that, it seems though the villains don't even have a fully understanding of it. I mean, come on, who can forget the most shocking surprise plot twist in video game history that is done in Kingdom Hearts 1? I mean, this is the most... I can never get over how cheesy and absurd this scene goes, in the sense that, and this just gives you the duality of Kingdom Hearts in general, right? You get the most cheesy freaking, and you can probably splice it in here too. It's the cheesiest freaking scene ever that's supposed to be like this big, oh my god, like plot twist, right? As like Xemnas is all like, I won't lose. Kingdom Hearts, grant me the power of everlasting darkness. You know, and you're like, oh no, he's gonna activate the super mega MacGuffin, right? And then Sora just goes, I know now, without a doubt, that Kingdom Hearts is light. And then he opens the door and he's like, shit! It never occurred to him that this whole time the thing he's going for could actually just like be the opposite of what he thinks it is.
No, be even funnier.
It never
is like, what if like when you open the door, it opens up to the last thing like the word is said. So if you said darkness and then open up the door, you get darkness. But since Sora said light right before the door opened, like light came out.
It's like this so funny that is like supposed to be like this big plot twist. You're like, oh my god. But then the irony is you get absolutely cheesy, ridiculous dialogue like that, but then you get dialogue that is actually so perfectly crafted that it actually is thought-provoking. Like when like true Xemnas appears in Kingdom Hearts 2, one of the lines that he states is so good because it's like a perfect metaphor about life in general and stuff, where he just says that he points out the irony of the fact where he says, we dedicated our life to understanding the heart. He says, and yet the irony is right now we're just as ignorant as when we started. Yep. I was like, bro, you can't just drop some deep crap on me like that in a game with cheesy dialogue. Like, he just hits you hard with that. And I'm like, bro, I felt that. I get what he's saying, man. He's saying that he's like, bro, this game throws a curveball at you. You were not expecting this deep dialogue from it. And it's just, it just has some great moments like that where it's cheesy when it needs to be, but then it'll hit you with something serious, and you're like, "Wait, whoa, like slow down here. You can't just hit me with that."
Well, Kingdom Hearts, it just makes you feel like it's like good art. It makes you feel something.
It's honestly like, it's honestly probably one of the best franchise that Square Enix has, and yet ironically, it's the one that they definitely seem to take their time with as well. Yeah. Ironically, is they most of the time, they'll pop out Final Fantasy as fast as they can because it's their bread and butter, and they'll pop out remasters when they can because it's their bread and butter. But Kingdom Hearts is just one of those that they take their time with, and whatever we get next is always a complete surprise. We're not expecting it every single time, and
yeah,
it's just
it's like it's a surprise, and it's something that like I know it's gonna be a good game. Like I have never played a Kingdom Hearts game where I was like, this game is just shit. Like it plays bad.
I don't think there really is one that's terrible. It's one of the most consistent franchises too, where like the games are relatively across the board a certain level of quality that remains consistent. Like it's just a type of game series that stays consistent no matter what you do, and I think that's what's good about it is the fact that it does stay consistent. Like it doesn't try to be more than it is. I mean, okay, at times it goes above and beyond and to do something different or out there, but for the most part, there's a formula with Kingdom Hearts that just seems to always land when it needs to. Even like the weakest entries in the series are still decent games. Like you can still go and play them and have a good time with them. And I think that right now, because we've had such a lull between games where we haven't really gotten anything in a little while, I think that this might even be probably like the best time to get into them, just because the fact that we haven't had a game in a while, so it's going to get caught up.
And who knows whenever Kingdom Hearts 4 ever comes out. Like, it could be 10 years
we haven't had
now.
any real news. We haven't had any real news in about 5 years, so.
Yeah, no.
All we have, the news we only have is we're still working on it. That was, we got that update 3 years ago where we were told, we're still working on it, which that's probably all we can hope for. We're probably not going to get anything for a while.
Yeah, no.
And it's interesting, that's for sure. I mean,
I just hope
it's a franchise.
Like, this is the thing with Kingdom Hearts 4 is I will wait until that first real trailer drops with like a release date, and I want to watch it, and I want to be filled with the same feeling I got when I saw like the Kingdom Hearts 2 trailer, or where it's just like, or Birth by Sleep, where I'm just like, oh my god, I need this. Hopefully I feel that way. But
and I do like how one thing that's really cool about the franchise in general is there's little tiny like details that end up becoming something that you have to kind of pay attention to get like the full effect of them. Like, so we see like the Ultima weapon, for example, like the Kingdom Hearts Ultima weapon is very iconic. Now I know its appearance has changed slightly in terms of its coloration, but one thing that's always been interesting to me about it is when you look at its design compared to, you start to realize that there is elements of its design that carries over, because the Ultima weapon, when you look at it, and then you look at the Keyblade, like the end game, Vanitas' Keyblade, right? The one that's supposed to be the ultimate Keyblade.
Yeah.
You look at that and you realize that the Kingdom Key is actually, and the Ultima weapon are actually like, they share a lot of similarities in design, to where it's like the Ultima weapon is clearly like the Keyblade trying to achieve its true original form, because it looks very similar to the ultimate Keyblade. And I think that's what's really cool, is that the ultimate Keyblade, it doesn't end. We don't even have seen it till later, and I like how they connected its design to the Ultima weapon to make it like more obvious that the two of them are connected. Like, liked that, but also because of the fact that the Ultima weapon will take a slight shape and form difference depending on who wields it. So like every single Keyblade user's Ultima weapon looks slightly different, and I liked that you can see what it broke off from, and I thought that was really cool that there's so many little details like that in Kingdom Hearts that you have to pay attention to if you really want to enjoy it and get the most out of it, because the Ultima weapon is just one of those little details that you have to really look at and know that there's something different about it.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is filled with stuff like that.
Oh yeah, in terms of art style and art design, Kingdom Hearts definitely goes above and beyond.
Yeah, no, like, Nomura is definitely a better artist than I think he is. I think he's top tier artist, mid-tier like game director. Actually, I'm gonna put him as like low-tier game director, because being a game director means you need to get your games out at a reasonable time, and he's terrible at that.
Yeah, he takes forever.
Like,
It takes forever.
like you're a bad game developer or director. You cannot manage a team apparently.
It's crazy too, because almost every character he's designed, like for Square Enix, though, is one that people like remember.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
it's insane.
I mean, the world
how
ends with,
talented he is.
and he's got a distinctive design. Like when you see a character of his, you know it's his. You know, and he's been. I mean, he did work on Chrono Trigger, but he only did like the field graphics. He didn't do like, obviously in Chrono Trigger we know Akira Toriyama. You're not gonna top that. That's my guy. But one thing that was really interesting is that even Parasite Eve, a fantastic game that is like, I did a video on it not that long ago with my friend Malum, and you can see his design it shines through as well, and it's a shame though, because that's another game that unfortunately we'll never see another entry in because of licensing issues. I think I even mentioned that in the videos that there's licensing. It's a licensing thing where that we'll never see another Parasite Eve game. But like I said, every time he's like ever made a game, like a character design for the game, which is primarily what he does, that's his primary thing. I know if I recall, he even like did some side work where he worked with Xenoblade for a little bit, which is weird because that's not with Square Enix. He actually that's actually with Nintendo now.
Yeah.
So I thought it was weird that he did some side work there. So I guess he's not completely bound and tied to Square Enix. So, but I don't know. I mean, I think
when you get that far up in the company, because he's like a major like director, like he has like decision making power at Square. But it's just like, I think when you get up that high, it's like you pretty much can do what you want. You're not like
and that's the thing is that
I was gonna say you're not like a low level artist where it's just like you're under contract to do this, and if you quit or we fire you, you can't work in the field for the next 10 years.
Well, that's the thing is that he definitely was somebody who was integral to, you know, designing a lot of these games. I know he was heavily designing like Dissidia, for example, which I know Dissidia is like a Final Fantasy fighting game that people really, really love. That I don't know if we'll ever get another entry in that one.
That's another like stupid like marketing or business decision where it's just like, you have a really good fighting game with your main cast of characters. Why don't you pump one of these out every like 2 years? Like, just like easy money. And it's like, no, we did it on the PSP and now we're done. Then we had the idea of making it like an esport type game, which any of the fans of Dissidia did not want at all. And then when that didn't do well, like, oh, I guess the franchise is dead. I guess people don't want a fighting game with all the Final Fantasy characters. Like, God.
I know they did like a PS4 one like a couple of years, like many years later, and there was an arcade version in Japan.
Yeah, that was the like PvP. It's all PvP. Like there's no like actual, there is like a slight story mode, but to progress in that you need to do PvP matches. And like if you were a fan of the PSP games, that is the exact opposite of what we wanted.
And then they did that mobile game, but it's gone now. So
I love that mobile game. That game was so good.
Yeah. It sucks that it's gone though. It's just completely gone. Like it's concluded. Yeah, it's just gone.
Yeah. No hope to bring it back.
That another example, you know. Yeah. Just another example of another game that just is completely lost to time. And that's the thing is that's what I worry about with some of the Kingdom Hearts franchise now, because the fact that some of these games are in fact, you know, not easy to access.
Yeah.
Or completely gone. And this franchise is very complicated. So without access to certain content, it could make it difficult for a newcomer to even understand what's going on, which means Square Enix is ultimately going to be forced to re-release the cutscenes again in some other package that we have to buy again.
Yeah.
Which is really frustrating. That's what we end up having to do.
And how long are we going to have these new games coming out? What if the new Kingdom Hearts game, Kingdom Hearts 4, is like a Switch 2 key card only fucking cloud service game, and it's just like, well, you better play it now, because in 20 years from now, or when the game comes out, it just won't be there.
Well, and it's just, yeah, and that's the problem. Yes, these mobile games. I'm hoping Square Enix is like, I think they even said that they're kind of like zoning down on their mobile development. They said they're kind of toning it down now and focusing more on like their main releases. I think they announced more recently that they currently don't have anything like major coming out yet. Like right now, they said their strategy for like the next 2 or 3 years is going to be like remasters and like ports.
Yeah.
So we're not going to see anything super huge again.
Yeah.
Again.
Because like, it's because like the second part of the Final Fantasy VII remake didn't do as well as the first one, and Final Fantasy 16 was like a flop. Like no one played that one.
Yeah, and then it got released on Xbox like 2 years later, but I think by that point, like nobody really cared. And unfortunately, releasing on Xbox later,
it doesn't help you.
Never really. Because nobody buys, like a lot of people don't really buy JRPGs on Xbox.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem, is that they don't really. And the other thing is, again, it was another game that they spent a ridiculous amount of money on.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem, is that I think that's why, like, Kingdom Hearts 3 was, like, a game that they took so long to make, is because of the fact that they want to make it as big as possible to get the best return on investment that they could. The problem is that the longer you take to make a game, the more expensive it becomes. It starts ballooning in price to the point where it becomes very difficult to do anything, like to make something like that. And yeah, and if I recall, Final Fantasy 16, they had to like delay it because of the pandemic, and then they had to delay it again because of the Ukraine situation. So it was like, by the time it came out, it was like the expectations to make a return on investment were so high that I didn't really foresee it doing anything. And I think it was just trying too hard to be like a dark Final Fantasy. It was like, oh, let's do something dark. And it's like weird because Kingdom Hearts used to be a crossover with Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But the problem is the more modern Final Fantasies are way too dark to where they would never mix well with Kingdom Hearts anymore, which is probably the main reason why Kingdom Hearts 3 did not have much Final Fantasy content, is because they obviously would want to do content that is like for a newer game that they're trying to, you know, push and sell. And the problem is that all of the newer Final Fantasy games are a little too dark to really work in the Kingdom Hearts universe. So they're kind of in this stalemate where there's not much they could do.
Yeah, no, it's just like, and it's just like, as a Kingdom Hearts fan, it's like I always wanted a Final Fantasy world, and it's like, why didn't you do that?
Yeah, that's the thing that's crazy, is that there's never was a true 100% Final Fantasy world, and it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's like, no, all the Final Fantasy characters are from Radiant Garden, and they all live there.
Yeah,
and it's just
that
like,
was kind of stuck. That kind of sucked.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we can't have fun, I guess. Like, yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that now that Disney owns all these properties, how do you feel about the idea? Because I know everyone, their grandmother talks about it. Now Disney owns Marvel, they own Star Wars and whatnot, and people keep asking, are we going to see that stuff in a Kingdom Hearts game coming in the future? What do you think about that?
I don't want to see it. Like, I hate Star Wars. I'm going to be honest. I hate Star Wars, so I don't want Star Wars in it at all. But it's like, Marvel doesn't fit.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. And I'm gonna say something that I know some people might not like, but keep in mind, this is my personal taste, my personal opinion. I feel like, especially since Disney bought them, they've been pushing so much content from those franchises to the point where I don't really want them. If I was in the beginning, I might have been okay with seeing them in Kingdom Hearts, maybe okay with it. But because after Disney bought them, they just basically quickly pushed out a ridiculous amount of content on those franchises to try to get the fastest return of an investment they could. it oversaturated the market with them to where I'm kind of like sick of even seeing them. Not because I hate them, but because it's like Disney just like they're okay. Let me put it this way, right? There was like a whole period of time where when Disney was just pumping out Star Wars content, almost all of like nerd culture was consumed by Star Wars because Disney was shoveling so much. I had a friend who like was showing like his haul he got from his parents on Christmas, and it was all Star Wars themed. He didn't even realize it till after the fact, and he thought about it. He's like, because Star Wars, like now, if you for that time period, it used to be when ThinkGeek was still a thing back in the States.
Yeah.
You know, where it was like a service where you could get like geeky shit. When GameStop bought them out, right? When back in the day, I remember you go get ThinkGeek, you could get all kinds of crazy stuff. The Star Wars popularity or not even popularity, but the pushing of Star Wars by Disney was so much that I remember there was a time that you went on ThinkGeek and basically all it was Star Wars stuff. You could have gone to like any GameStop during that time, and like all of the merchandise was like Star Wars, and like everything else got pushed to the side for like Star Wars. And same thing with like Marvel's kind of doing the same thing now, where it's like there's just so much Marvel constantly being pushed out. If you go to the theaters now, it's very rare that you will see a movie that's being premiered or shown that's not owned by Disney in some capacity now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's to the point where the only reason I really don't want to see it is because it's been oversaturated to the point where I'm just so tired of seeing it. Even if I at one point liked them both, I'm at the point where like, dude, we need a rest from them. We need like a break for them. It's one of those things where they feel the need to put it in everything because it's a brand and that's successful and everybody likes it and everything. And I feel like that's not the best reason to do it, because if you don't have a plan for it and the only reason you're doing it is just because like, oh, it's popular, so we'll get plenty of people that'll buy the game just because Star Wars is attached to it or Marvel's attached to it. If that's the reason you're going to do it, I'd rather not have it. I would rather only have it go in there if you have a really good idea that you're really passionate about, and not because it'll sell more copies.
Yeah.
Because and that's the problem, is I feel like I think that's the main reason a lot of people felt like Kingdom Hearts 3 was weaker, is because it really just kind of feels like it's trying to advertise Disney's newer movies more than anything else.
Yeah. And like, and again, it just doesn't feel Kingdom like even though like Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel, I still don't see them as like Disney property. Like when I think of Disney, I don't think of Star Wars or Marvel. I think of like Hercules and Emperor's New Groove and Lion King. Like that's Disney. Star Wars isn't. Even though they own it, it's not them.
And that's the problem, is that Disney is trying too hard to make. They're trying too hard to make like the things they bought. They want an instant return on investment, and they're just shoveling out stuff as fast as they can. And now they're trying to finding out that strategy isn't working, because, I mean, look at a lot of the most modern Pixar movies that have come out, and a lot of them have flopped.
Elio.
Like Pixar used to be a brand that Pixar used to be a brand that you attach something that was instant money printing.
Yeah.
And now it's a hit or miss thing where they have a flop and then they have a six. And then now some people are trying to blame it on controversies and whatnot, and maybe a little bit of it is that, but I think ultimately the main reason is that it's just kind of the same. It's kind of more of the same over and over and over again.
I think people,
and that's
like,
the problem with.
Well, it's just like, and I think like they're trying to market them as like movies, where it's just like don't put them in theaters, do them straight to like streaming. Like there's a reason why K-pop Demon Hunters is the #1 movie in the world, and like top of the bill. It was just an animated movie they made by Sony. They probably made it relatively cheap, and then they put it straight to Netflix and had Netflix promote it. And now it's one of the biggest. It's probably up. Maybe it's bigger than like Frozen in terms of like money.
The irony there. This is the irony, is that it is. I want to say, I can't remember if it was Netflix or if it was Sony. I think it was Sony. Yeah, I think Sony. We'll probably not see another one anytime soon, or if we do, there's going to be some legal battle around that, because I guess the original deal, Sony capped out how much they were going to get. They basically were given a flat rate, regardless how successful it is. And because it's so successful, I have a guarantee they're going to sue Netflix to try to get more of this.
Yeah.
So we're going to, like I said, another awkward. I hate licensing. I got to be honest with you. I feel like licensing is ironically ruining games left and right.
Yeah.
Because there are so many freaking games and things like that that are ruined because of licensing issues. And I feel like sometimes the explanation or the argument of what the problem is sometimes so freaking absurd that it's like, are we really wasting our time fighting over this? Like, we can't have another game in this franchise or whatever because of this nonsense reason.
And
like,
it's just extortion.
It's
it's just someone mad that they're not making even more money than they're making. That's all licensing is.
And it's like these people that have made tremendous amounts of money are mad because they didn't make more money. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of like when people tell you about like they kind of tell you about stuff like I'm trying to think of a great example where they talk like, oh yeah, like where people talk about like disparity in terms of like wealth, right? And then they'll bring up like some movie stars.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, what? They'll be like, oh yeah, like don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna get controversial or anything, but I do think that like if you're gonna talk about something like controversial, like earnings, right, where you're saying like there's a disparity between this group and that group, right? If you're gonna talk about that, I feel like it's so ridiculously tone deaf to talk about it, and then your first example you come up with is somebody who, even with the disparity, is already making in the millions.
Yeah.
Like, it's so stupidly tone deaf, and I'm more amazed that people actually like will sympathize with it. Or like dude, they still made millions.
Yeah,
but the other person made, they only made 3 million from it, but the other person made 4 million.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And yeah, that does suck. And I do agree that, yeah, they should be paid the same, but like, this is the best example you could come up with. Like, when I'm thinking of wealth disparity, I'm not anybody. If you're already at the point where you're above, if you're in the top 1 percentile,
yeah,
I kind of don't I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really care about wealth disparity that you're experiencing at that point.
It's like you are never going to be hungry a day in your life.
Yeah,
like, it's just,
exactly.
It's
so because it's like okay, like if you have like $50 million in the bank and it's sitting there collecting interest to the point where you could live on like $20,000 in interest every month, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really concerned that you didn't get paid more money for something, because like you're not gonna put like, okay, you have 50 million in the bank. Would 51 million really change anything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like would your life suddenly get significantly different if you had 51 million? And I'm just like, if you're going to talk about these things, I would rather hear about somebody who's paid 30,000 for something and somebody else got paid 100,000. That's what I consider a huge disparity on a much lower scale. So that's why I think it's dumb when people bring that kind of stuff up and then they immediately start talking about people getting paid in the millions. Cause I'm like, who cares? They're in the millions. Like, I'm sorry, at that point, that's their problem. They can fight that battle. But
well, it's the same thing with like
modest...
when you hear like about like athletes, like a basketball player, and it's like, oh yeah, like I grew up in the hood and the projects and all this stuff, and it's just like, yeah, but now you're making millions of dollars and you're not investing any of that money where you grew up. Like,
well, it's
shut the fuck up.
It's
like,
not even how they choose.
It's like,
it's not even how they choose to use their money. You know what I mean? It's not even that annoys me, because like, look, hey, if you how you want to choose to use your money, that's on you. I'm not gonna moral grandstand on what I would do or what's right or wrong, because this isn't even that kind of show. But I'm just saying that, like, when people talk about these kind of things in terms of movies and controversies and whatnot, I feel like the conversation is not nuanced enough to the point where people will just blame something, and it could be an isolated incident, or it could just be a situation where you're just kind of misrepresenting the information, or you're leaving out important bits. But I also find it strange that the human condition is so weird about this, because, again, I'm sorry, but if I find out somebody was paid millions of dollars for something, but I found somebody else was paid like a few million more, I don't really see how somebody who makes 45,000 a year, for example, like why they would even care.
Yeah.
If I'm being perfectly honest, like I don't see why, but the weird part is that they do.
Yeah.
There are people that will adamantly like fight for these people that are making already in the millions, be like, oh, we're going to protest till they get more. And I'm like, but those same people aren't doing the same for you.
Yeah.
When it would affect you way more than them. Like it affects you way more than it affects them. And I think that's really interesting is
licensing stuff. It sucks, especially with licensing stuff, because like it's just like these people like fucking fight over money. In the meantime, you're withholding like content from everybody else because you're just mad. You're, like,
from us poor people.
Poor
people. Yeah.
So it's just like I'm not gonna
fighting over millions of dollars.
Like
while
I
poor
own
people
this
can't
much
have our bread in circus.
Yeah, like I own this much of fucking Star Wars, and I'm mad that like my contract didn't allow me to make this much money, so I'm not gonna let this like movie project or whatever go on until I make that. And it's just like, dude, stop being an idiot.
Meanwhile, somebody out there who only makes like 30,000 a year, that new Star Wars movie might be the only thing that they're looking forward to and gets them through, the situation they're in, because they don't have much else going for them because they don't have that much money.
Yeah.
And they're struggling to make ends meet. And this is what they do to pass the time. This is what they do to distract themselves, because we all need a distraction, regardless of how much money you have in the bank. Nobody can make it through life with just living to work, and this might be the only thing. And you're withholding it from that person who is a fan, who is somebody who supported you, who got you to where you made millions in the first place. And you're screwing them over to stick it to a company that at the end of the day, they're not even going to care in the end. It's like, even if you win, it's not even going to really matter, because the amount you're going to walk away with is not even going to be life-changing amount of money most of the time. So it's kind of crappy to me that's the stalemate we find ourselves in. Like, and that's why I feel like Kingdom Hearts becomes a unique situation, because surprisingly, and this is what's really weird, is that surprisingly, backing on the topic of Kingdom Hearts, licensing is something you'd think would be a problem in Kingdom Hearts. You'd think it would, especially because you got Disney involved. And Disney is the king of cease and desist orders left and right? So you
I think they've been dethroned by Nintendo now, but...
Well, yeah. But I'm saying you'd think, though, that licensing would be something that would come up a lot in Kingdom Hearts. But surprisingly, to my understanding, it's only came up once.
Yeah.
And it's been settled for years. And it did not prevent future content or anything. So it's like, how is it that a company like Disney, which is known for being like a tyrant about their content, how are they able to get this crap done and get the games to come out when other companies with much lesser problems can't? It boggles the mind. And strangely enough, Square Enix, as I've covered in my video when I did Parasite Eve, is ironically one of the companies that is constantly embroiled in licensing problems.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many instances where they've apparently been stuck in that same position, where they've had this licensing issue they've had to deal with, and they've been fighting back and forth. And I'm just like, licensing I'm sorry, but the way we handle intellectual property right now is so counterintuitive for gamers, because all it is currently being used for is to block games from being made.
Yeah.
It was made to protect artists. Actually, no, it wasn't. That's a lie. It was actually made to protect major corporations. Let me put that away. With the illusion that it was made to protect artists, because the way that we currently have licensing is pushed by Disney of all places. So but it's ironically being used to prevent stuff from being made. It's not It's very rare that I see a news article come out, and you're an artist, so you probably know even more than me, that I see an article come out where the licensing or copyright laws helped a small-time creator protect his work from major corporation. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just like, it's so ridiculous, because especially with Disney, is they lobby these groups that like make the laws to extend them out to these ridiculous amount of times just for Mickey Mouse. And it's just like, just make an exception that Disney will always own Mickey Mouse. That would be fine.
And it sucks because...
And then make everything, like, if you create something, you have it for, like, 20 years. There you go.
Well, and then also, I believe there was even like there were even in Kingdom Hearts, I believe there was some issue. I'm not sure 100% sure. I think with the Utada Hikaru, where because the future games all to be released in a digital storefront, I think there was like some licensing issue with her music and whatnot because of like her stance on like how they approach digital music and everything. And Japan's music laws are very strict. So like I think there was actually some issue with that for a couple of years where they had to like come up with a resolution that like all parties were satisfied with. I'm not 100% sure of the details, and I could be completely wrong. But yeah, that was like another issue apparently that was holding up Kingdom Hearts 3. There was some situation with that. And that's the other thing is that, yeah, it's like, and not then will we have situations where games can't even be re-released.
Yeah.
Or re-released in their full form because of licensing issues. It's like, look at like the Tony Hawk games that just got released. Obviously, the licensed music that expired, they had to take it out. Like the license.
Yeah,
I think that's the dumbest,
Tony Hawk
most
3
asinine.
and 4, that game got gutted for content. It's not even the same game anymore.
I think, dude, licensing music in a game the way they do it is the most asinine thing ever, because games are basically nowadays especially sold in a digital capacity, which means they're always available forever, right? Or they're supposed to be anyway. Like a game on Steam, for example. So how the hell are you going to have a situation where you're going to license the music to the game, but only for a certain amount of time?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't even make any sense. That means that the company's only option is they have to take the game off the shelf,
or update it,
or they have to make an update that removes a part of the game. Yeah. And it's like, so like a part of the game is pretty much lost forever because of bullcrap licensing.
Yeah.
So like the original vision is lost because the person is just mad that they didn't get even more money. And then don't get me wrong. Now, some people will argue that yes, the companies, they underpay the artists that they make. And that is true. And I definitely think they should renegotiate how much they pay them. Absolutely. But this notion that basically let's just destroy the product and strip it down so that it's just to protect somebody like that, I think there's a better approach. And it sucks that like that's what kept things, but at the same time, that's pretty much like the situation that like Square Enix is like finds themselves in all the time, but strangely enough, not with Disney and not with Kingdom Hearts. And it's funny though, because now I know there are people out there that find controversy with Kingdom Hearts, which to me that's the weirdest thing, to find anything in Kingdom Hearts controversial.
Yeah, no, I can't think of any.
But apparently there is, and that's astounding to me that such a thing exists, that there is controversy.
I guess looking back is like, oh, I guess Sora did say the N-word in this cutscene.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even notice.
Right. Okay, according to this, a recent critique by The Gamer, an overly controversy Kingdom Hearts range from the series' overly complicated story, which, okay, fair. The use of time travel to potentially problematic portrayal of protagonist Sora as being compulsorily heterosexual due to his limited understanding. What does that mean?
Sora doesn't.
What does that even mean? What is compulsory heterosexuality? What is that? What is that? I don't even know what that is.
They're just making up.
I'm literally not even trying to be controversial here. This is my first time I've ever heard of this, ever. Like, I've never even heard this term. I have no idea what this means. What is that? I'm gonna have to Google what that is, because I have no idea.
Googling it will just lead you to that article where they said it for the first time ever.
Right. Wait, oh, there's a Wikipedia page on it.
Oh, damn.
What is this?
Well,
compulsory heterosexuality. I think I'm not educated enough to really even comment on this. I don't even know. But I see, that's the thing. Finding controversy in Kingdom Hearts, I think, is the weirdest thing. Because, dude, it's a story about a guy who goes around hitting stuff with a key. Like, come on, man. Like, there's nothing controversial going on here.
It's a story about a kid
just
lost in Disneyland. That's all that's it.
Exactly. And surprisingly, that's one thing that was cool about Kingdom Hearts 3 is that some of the moves that you could get were like based on rides from Disneyland. So that
that
was
was
pretty
super
cool.
cool. But
Even though they were overpowered.
Yeah. Anyway, I just realized we're at like 2 hours 30 minutes in this conversation, and we went well over my 2-hour threshold for these. So
we're gonna have to do a part 2 for everybody.
Yes. So I'm gonna abruptly end it here. We might be back talking about more Kingdom Hearts. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, Wizplay, for coming by, and yeah. And if you guys want to be on TextBox, just hit me up and go check out Wizplay and his channel. He did an awesome video on Parasite Eve. It is pretty damn good.
Good game, very good game. And yes, I will do Parasite Eve 2 eventually. It's on the to-do list.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.